So that defensive front has to put the pressure. If they don't get the penetration, they have to put the hands up. But with Scott Mitchell putting your hands up, you're going to have to add a little vertical jump because he's 6'6".
Well, you see the Lions, they have blanked Atlanta in season openers 3-0, and they have been very good here at the Dome. Tony Smith, number 28, dropping back, along with Alton Montgomery, number 22. And kicking away is Jason Hanson, and here we go, the 75th season of NFL football. Booming kick into the end zone, and Smith will bring it out. Hammered down at the 14, and the tackle made by Tracy Scroggins. Jeff George, coming from Indianapolis, his hometown, and this is 5th year out of Illinois, and they're hoping for big things in this Atlanta offense. Up front, Mike Kennon, this is 17th season, joined by Lincoln Kennedy, Roman Fortin, Mike Zendowski, and Bob Whitfield, the youngster out of Stanford. Lineups brought to you by Zima. And the backs, Eric Pegram, a 1,000-yard rusher a season ago, a talented trio in Mathis, Mims, and Emmanuel. And the man to watch, of course, number 80, Andre Rison, under first-year head coach June Jones. They are rocking here at the Silverdome. 1st and 10. George throws, and the reception is made shy of the first down, hauled in by Brennaman, the rookie, and Chris Spielman is here to knock it away and make the tackle.
Well, the defense to try to get to George is Kevin Pritchett at one end, Owens and Porcher. They have to put the pressure on Jeff George. The defensive linebacker crew led by Pat Swilling. Excellent linebackers there in the defensive secondary, Robert Massey, Blaze Cohen, and McNeil.
Gain of 8. It'll bring up 2nd and 2. Atlanta at their own 22. First possession of the game. Shuffle pass. Able to get it is Pegram, and he's still on his feet. Or are they calling him down? They say he's down. So that won't go for much of anything, and it'll bring up a 3rd down for the Falcons. They're lucky that one didn't turn into giving it away.
Tommy, I was going to say it looked like Robert Porcher was right there when Pegram made the reception, and they had contact with each other, and I'm surprised that it didn't happen a little quicker than the official made the call there. But right from the beginning, I saw both the players on the ground making contact, and I thought that was a great call.
So a loss of a couple of yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Shotgun. George looking downfield, and it's through the hands of Andre Rison. Flag on the field. We'll wait and see where that one fraction will go against. Our referee today is Dick Hancock.
There's no play. We have delay of the game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So the Falcons will get another shot.
Well, he was open on that one, but of course they had the delay of game there. Maybe a little nerve for Jeff George. First game, new team, new system. Once he gets going, they're allowing him to get into the game.
Please return the game clock to read 13 minutes and 14 seconds.
So while we have a moment,
thank you.
they'll reset the clock here at the Pontiac Silverdome. June Jones on January the 24th named the head coach. He was a member of the Falcons' first playoff team back in 1978. 3rd down and 11. David Mims in motion. And the give is to Pegram. Breaks a couple of tackles before Benny Blades drags him down, and the Falcons will have to punt.
One thing that tells me, giving him the ball on 3rd down, a little delayed draw there. They're letting Jeff George ease into the game. They don't want to put him in too much a pressure situation there, dropping him back on a 3rd and long, but they're having to punt it away right now.
Well, now on to punt for Atlanta is Harold Alexander, and Mel Gray, one of the all-time greats, is back to return the kick. 3 Pro Bowls for Mel Gray. He is in 2nd place all-time in NFL history on the return list. What a kick by Alexander. Gray with some room. Detroit offense. Well, we told you about the new quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. The same holds true for the Detroit Lions. What a big man he is. 6'6", 230-pounder Scott Mitchell. Made 7 career NFL starts, 4 seasons, backing up Dan Marino, Lomas Brown, Sean Bowens, Kevin Glover, Doug Weidel, and David Lutz on the line. Barry Sanders. We'll talk more about him later. Herman Moore, they're expecting big things, and Anthony Carter has come over to join Brett Brennaman and the new tight end Ron Hall. Sanders, the lone setback. Mitchell, a strike to Moore. He's going to burn it. Taken down inside the 20.
Wow. Excellent play, Herman Moore. I tell you, he's a heck of a receiver. Let's look at the Atlanta defense. They talk about the 4-2-5, and basically what that means, the four defensive linemen, led by, of course, a great pickup for them, Chris Dolman. They have the 2 linebackers and then the 5 defensive secondary guys. For Ron George, plays a little bit of linebacker and defensive back.
1st and 10 inside the 20. Detroit knocking on the doors. Sanders first carry. Cuts outside. He's going for the end zone, and he's just short of getting there. Vinnie Clark able to run him down. Oh, what a back is Barry Sanders.
Great play by Barry Sanders. There was one-on-one with Ron George, and anytime that happens, a one-on-one situation by Barry Sanders and the linebacker, I'm going to take Barry Sanders right here. Ron George, number 50, there's no way he can get him. Barry Sanders is towards the corner, doesn't quite make it in the end zone, but Ron George is sitting there saying, I'm going to make this tackle, and Barry Sanders said, no way.
Derek Moore and Eric Lynch, the new backfield. Touchdown Lions. Moore goes in from 2 yards out.
Well, what you do is you give it to Barry Sanders out in the open field, then you turn around and give it to Derek Moore when you're inside of the 5. Nice run, gets hit a little bit there before the goal line, but he knows exactly what he has to do. Touchdown.
Jason Hansen on to try the extra point. The holder is long-time NFL quarterback Dave Bray. And it's good. 3 plays, 53 yards, and the Giants in 1 minute 7 seconds own a 7-0 lead. Nice and cool on the outside, and the Detroit Lion offense heating it up right now on the inside.
In a hurry, I tell you, with Herman Moore, Scott Mitchell showed right away that nice arm he has. Got back there quickly, hit Herman Moore, and that set up the touchdown. Boy, you can't score any quicker. Well, they could have scored a little quicker than that, but they took 3 plays.
Again, back deep, Eric Jack, Holt Montgomery, and Tony Smith. Smith will try it again. Another great kick by Hansen. And good special teams play by the Lions, as Smith is taken down by Harry Colin at the 20.
Well, Tommy, here's the play that set up the touchdown run by Derek Moore. You got Herman Moore right here, 84, makes the catch, quick throw, and he's off. Well, I tell you, this guy is unbelievable. They rank him up there with the Irvins and all those guys. I mean, just a cut maybe below Jerry Rice, which most guys are. But Herman Moore, nice catch to set up that touchdown run by Derek Moore.
Falcons break the huddle. And Jeff George, the #1 pick back in 1990, 26 years young. He has a new chance, maybe his last chance, to lead an NFL team. George, forced out of the pocket, throws, and yes, it is good. Andre Rison, who has caught more passes in 5 years than any other wide receiver in the history of this game, breaking the old record of Sterling Sharp.
He is a great receiver, and Jeff George knows he has Andre Rison out there to throw to, but they have some other young receivers, and June Jones is not only excited about Andre Rison, but all the other receivers they have for Jeff George.
Greg Hayward, number 34, checks into the game for the first time. Well, we understand those were the first points scored on Fox television. Anthony Munoz. Emmanuel near the right sideline, and the catch is good, but still shy of the first down. Well, how about that? I mean, you're part of history every time I turn around.
That's great. I tell you, let's get a few more of these touchdowns and a few more games where a lot more touchdowns are scored.
Well, all the coaches, June Jones and Lane Potts, had a chance to meet with them yesterday, and they're saying, Anthony Munoz, will you please come back and play again? Third down and 3. Here comes the blitz. Falcons pick it up, and the catch is made by Rison, and it's good enough for the first down. Immediately tackled by Robert Massey.
I've noticed something interesting by this Detroit defense. They actually have just 2 pure defensive linemen down in the middle. They have 2 outside backers, and then they have 3 more linebackers in the middle. So they're actually playing a 4-3, but they have 5 linebackers in there. And that time, all 5 came on a blitz, but George did a great job completing that pass.
Well, I know you like this Detroit linebacking core. Who wouldn't? You have 3 Pro Bowlers. George, 5 out of 5 thus far in the game. Looks to throw again. Downfield. He has Rison and just overthrown. Willie Clay on the coverage defensively, along with Robert Massey.
Andre Rison complaining on that play. He thought he might have been interfered with. As we know, one of the new rule changes is no contact past that 5 yards after you get off the line of scrimmage. And right here, number 80, Andre Rison thinks that he was contacted with as he was running downfield. Here we see Andre Rison, Massey on him, and there is some contact. I guess the question is, who initiated the contact is the big question there. The official thought maybe Andre Rison initiated the contact.
2nd and 10. Mathis in motion. George unable to hook up with number 85, David Mims. All right, now let's go for a McDonald's game break and send it back to James Brown in our Hollywood studios. JB.
All right, Tom. In Chicago, Dave Wannstedt said Eric Kramer is a starting quarterback. Here's why. 11-yard strike to Chris Gedney. Opening drive for the Bears. Bears lead it 7-0. Back to Tom and Anthony.
7-0 ball game. Detroit scoring on its opening drive. A big pass to Herman Moore. Outstanding run by Barry Sanders, and then Derek Moore cashed in from 2 yards out. 3rd and 10. Lots of time, and now he runs out of it. Kevin Pritchett, 4th-year player out of Mississippi, drags him down.
Right there, Tommy, that was a pressure by Pritchett in the sack that was caused by the defensive coverage because Jeff George had plenty of time. Right here you see Kelvin Pritchett, 94. He gets blocked pretty well, but then his second effort allows him to make the sack. And you have to give that secondary, which we questioned at first. Before the game today, they did an excellent job right there.
Yet another punt by Harold Alexander. And Mel Gray back to receive the kick. Gray able to dance around a bit. He's just shy of the 30. And that's where Scott Mitchell and Barry Sanders will take it over. 7-0 ball game. Detroit leading in the opening quarter. Along with Anthony Munoz, I'm Thom Brennaman back in the Pontiac Silverdome. Only a guy like you can understand all this mess. Defensive line coach Lamar Leachman drawing it up.
Well, you have your defensive lineman. He's drawing the X's and O's, and of course the offensive linemen are always bigger O's than those defensive linemen, but it's gotten pretty even now.
Scott Mitchell led his team to a touchdown in just 3 plays on the Lions' first possession. Barry Sanders, met by a gang of white jerseys, only to gain a couple. Pierce Holt and Mo Gardner in on the stop.
Well, Tom, we talked about that 4-2-5, and here's those four down front guys led by Chris Dolman, who came over from the Vikings. You have Jesse Tuggle and Clay Matthews, 2 excellent linebackers. Then you have 5 secondary guys, and the one guy to look for is Ron George, who plays linebacker and defensive back. He's kind of one of those tweener guys, in between a linebacker and a secondary man.
Got to look there at Ron George. Flags come down. Mitchell a free play, and he connects to number 81, Anthony Carter. Carter, of course, out of the University of Michigan, played with the Michigan Panthers in the old USFL. And now he's returning back to the state and hoping it's where he'll finish his career.
Well, what happened on this play, talking to some of the Lions with Mitchell coming in, they had a little trouble adjusting to a snap count. He had that.
Defense, number 56. Penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
As I was saying, he has that hard snap count. And it's been tough adjusting that. Right then, the offensive linemen held their water. In other words, they maintained their position, but Chris Dolman jumped offside. That time it got the defensive lineman.
First and 10, Detroit leading 7-0. They're on their own 43-yard line. Ron Hall, the tight end in motion. Sanders inside, met head on by number 50, Ron George, a pickup of close to 4.
Tom, one of the things I have to remember is that we use certain terms, certain terminology as players, and I use, he held his water. People would think, well, I don't see a glass of water in his hand, but that's something we used to say when the offensive lineman was just disciplined and not jump outside when the defensive lineman approached. So I got to remember to start kind of explaining that terminology that I might use.
Told you about the Bears in early lead, and Detroit leading in this one 7-0. Your old ball club, the Bengals and Browns, getting together today at Riverfront in Cincinnati. Second and 7. Mitchell, and the ball comes loose. And are they saying it is a completed pass or not? All the officials kind of looking around at one another and now saying no. Tuggle making some kind of hit on Anthony Carter. Tuggle
Pass
will do
is
that
ruled
too.
incomplete. Third down.
Tuggle at 230, 5'11" from Valdosta State. He's not afraid to hit people. Right here, Anthony Carter grabs the ball, but he didn't have control.
return the
At least
game
I
clock
think
to
he did. Then Tuggle hits him, and he loses the ball. They called it incompleted pass.
Jesse Tuggle. He has had some kind of career with the Falcons. You know, you don't hear a whole lot about him, but led the team in tackles just about every single season. Third down and 7. And again, Hall in motion. The give to Sanders. Enough for the first down. He's inside Falcon territory down to the 44. Is he something?
We were talking just the other day. We were talking about if you were starting a football team, Anthony, who would you take? And I had to say Barry Sanders right here, number 20. I mean, the way he's able to take the ball up into the line of scrimmage and then decide where to go, then make that cut. I have not seen a running back that can do that like Barry Sanders. If I had a choice of taking him for my team, in a second I'd take him.
Absolutely. I don't know who to argue with that. First and 10. And again, Mitchell back to throw. Long ball. Moore is unable to get there. Good coverage by Vinnie Clark. I know you like Scott Mitchell. We were amazed how big this guy is when we walked into practice on Thursday.
I walked in, I saw Scott Mitchell. I thought maybe one of the Detroit Pistons power forwards was in practice, and I was meeting this guy. I mean, 6'6", 230 pounds. You hear quarterbacks in 6'4", 6'5", but he was 6'6", and he looked 6'8", because he is thick. 230, at least that's what they have him listed at, 230, maybe 240.
Mitchell, not a bad start. The big completion, setting up the game's only score, went to Herman Moore. Second down and 10. Barry Sanders already 4 carries, 33 yards, and he's in motion. Mitchell steps up, and he runs, gaining close to 5. It'll bring up third down before Chuck Smith and Pierce Holt brought it down.
That was the one thing they liked about Scott Mitchell. It was his ability when he got back there. If he didn't see a receiver that he liked or they were covered, he was not afraid to pull it down, and he doesn't force the ball into his receivers. Right here, big matchup. Chris Dolman, number 56, against Lomas Brown. That one you have to give it to Lomas Brown. But there's two guys, two excellent football players.
Third down and 5. Mitchell unable to connect with Brennaman. So for the first time, the Falcons will have to punt. It's funny, yesterday Lomas Brown said, "I'm so happy to have an offensive lineman in the booth." The only time they ever talk about us is when we get beat on a sack.
Well, maybe as the year goes on, you're going to have to punch me in the arm and say, okay, enough about the offensive lineman. But, you know, as Paul Brown said, when I played under Paul Brown, not as a coach but an owner, he said when you start a team, you start up front. And I think from an offensive line standpoint, defensive line standpoint, that's where you start a team.
Another free agent brought on by the Lions, Greg Montgomery to kick. Tony Smith will let it drop. And did they get it back? No, they did not. Montgomery thought that one should have been his team leading 7-0 in the first. I want to remind you this game is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the Detroit Lions and the National Football League is prohibited. Detroit a 7-0 lead. Atlanta taking over at their own 20. See the total yards. Detroit amassing most of those on their opening drive, which led to a touchdown. Flag down. George throws. Rison makes the catch, and Massey late on the hit.
Got a penalty on the play here. Offside, maybe Broderick Thomas trying to get to the quarterback a little quicker.
Well, Broderick Thomas, you had a chance to play with him last season, be around him in Tampa. Many believe that, you know, that perhaps he has not lived up to #1 draft choice expectations. They're figuring he will here in Detroit. Talk more about that in a minute.
Defense, number 56, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Well, it wasn't Broderick Thomas, it was Pat Swilling. But getting back to Broderick Thomas, I was down there in camp with Tampa Bay, and they weren't real happy about him. He was a first-round pick. They said he wasn't playing like one, so now he's up in Detroit. The Lions are excited about having Broderick Thomas up here.
It'll be 1st and 5. David Mims in motion. George through the hands of Andre Rison. Not sure he would have come in down in bounds anyway. What do you think of Jeff George so far, Anthony?
Well, I think he's done pretty well. He's had a little bit of pressure, not much. Our offensive line's given him some time. He's thrown a couple balls high. That one there was thrown a little high. One earlier was thrown a little high. I just think it's the nerves, maybe the excitement of being with the new team. As he settles into it, as the game goes along, I think that'll really tell a little more about Jeff George.
6 defensive backs into the game for Detroit on this 2nd and 5. George wants timeout. That defense and the
Timeout.
6 defensive backs not
Atlanta,
much to his liking.
They're charged timeout.
So a timeout on the field, still in the first quarter, 4:25 left to play. June Jones and company trailing by a touchdown. Detroit a 7-0 lead. We touched briefly earlier. Mike Ken, the left tackle of the Atlanta Falcons. This is almost unbelievably 17th year in the league.
I tell you, he really hasn't lost a whole lot. I've watched some film on him, and he still is out there doing a pretty good job.
2nd and 5. Ball at the 25 of Atlanta. Pegram. Not much room before he is met head-on by Robert Forshea.
As we were talking to Mike Ken yesterday, we asked him the question about going against Pat Swilling and so forth. And a lot of guys would say, well, I look forward to those big matchups. What did he say? I like playing the pineapples is what he used. And, you know, but he says, I'm glad when these games are over playing against guys like Pat Swilling. But in the past, Mike Ken has done an excellent job against Pat Swilling. Right here you see Mike Ken, 237 games. That's a lot of snaps.
And Jackie Slater is still out with the L.A. Rams. 3rd down and 1. George checking off. Fires. Caught by Rison. Good enough for the first down. You know, it's hard to believe about Mike Ken. He was a teammate of head coach June Jones for 5 seasons. I mean, when you were a teammate of the coach and he's been out of playing for a long time, that's saying something.
That says that you've been around for a long time. And right here, you see June Jones has a little gray on the side. I was kidding Mike Ken yesterday because He's got a little more gray than June Jones does. I'm not maybe a little more, a lot more gray.
Yeah, a whole lot more gray.
He's a great guy. He's been involved with the union. He's the president of the union. He's very active in his community, the winner of the Byron Whizzer White Award. Not only a great player on the field, as you can see him right here. Well, he's got it wet a little bit, so you can't see the gray. Yeah. But in the community, got a great family man. You can't say enough great things about Mike Ken.
Well, right now, let's go to James Brown. Oh, apparently we'll hold on a minute as Robert Massey is the injured Lion down on the field. Massey, a Pro Bowler back in '92, signed as a free agent from Arizona. A lot of changes on both of these teams, Anthony. You know, we talked about all the new players on both sides. Get back to that in a minute. So let's send it back to James Brown in our Hollywood studio for an NFL update.
All right, Joe, I tell you what, the Giants have made it easy for Dave Brown just to hand off and end around to Chris Callaway. He works his way downfield 20 yards. That set up a 1-yard touchdown run by Rodney Hampton. Adds to that a 68-yarder by Dave Meggett, and the Giants lead it 14-0 back in the first. Back to you.
All right, James, thanks much. And Robert Massey limping off the field. That's not good news. And Anthony, so many teams have talked about, you know, with the salary cap, depth is at the minimum.
Well, that's the one thing that every player you talk to, every coach you talk to, they're saying our front line players are excellent players, but we can't afford the injuries because the depth is thin. You have young guys, you have guys that don't have a whole lot of playing experience, and a tough position to play is that defensive secondary, and that's where the depth hurts you if you don't have it.
Well, they're going to have to bring in Greg Jeffries, a second-year player out of Virginia. He wears number 25, so we'll see if they don't go right after him with Andre Rison.
Hey, with Andre Rison, it doesn't matter who you have out there. I'd go after anybody that's lined up with Andre Rison.
Lions lead 7-0. But Atlanta on the move. 1st and 10 at their own 41. George again to throw. And he fires out to Rison, so they do go right away into new cornerback Greg Jeffries. That's not fair.
Well, this is the regular season. These games count. You got your man Andre Rison out there. Why not take advantage of Greg Jeffries, second-year player out of Virginia? I mean, anyone that watches football knows something about football. That your comment earlier, go right after him. Andre's the kind of guy that says, give me the ball, give me the ball. Jeff George saying yesterday, he's the guy that comes back and says, give me the ball, I want the ball.
He's gotten it plenty in his career. 2:55 to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 5. Good enough for the first down. And the completion goes to Terrence Mathis, a free agent brought over from the New York Jets.
They've been going quite a bit to Rison, but they're excited about their other receivers, losing guys like Michael Haynes and Pritchard. Then they have Terrence Mathis they can go to, Bert Emanuel they can go to. A lot of speedsters out there, David Mims. Right here you see, quick drop. George throws the ball quickly, and right here you have Terrence Mathis makes the catch. Nice game.
George 8 of 11 for 43 yards. 1st and 10. First time the Falcons have been in Detroit territory. Short pass again. The reception is made. And the Lions keeping this drive alive. David Mims, a tailback in college back at Baylor. We have some interesting stories here, Anthony, as far as their wide receivers. Bert Emanuel, number 87. He was a college quarterback 1 year ago at Rice.
Well, he was the first quarterback to have a winning season in 29 years at Rice. To me, that says this guy is a great athlete. If you take and draft a quarterback and he's a starting wide receiver on your football team.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Give us to Pegram. And he is up close to the first down. They needed to get inside the 36. Roderick Thomas and Willie Clay making the hit. We'll see about the ruling. And apparently, Robert Massey, injured a moment ago, is all right. We may see him later.
Tom, and what you'll always also see in this game is the Detroit Lions are doing this defensively. They're shuffling their defensive linemen in and out. It has to be frustrating for a defensive lineman knowing that the quarterback isn't going back that far. The offensive linemen are attacking, short-setting those defensive linemen, and you really can't get into your pass rush move. So they're shuffling right now, bringing Dan Owens in, shuffling in and out. Dan Owens playing for the injured Mark Spindler.
Well, you know, critics of the run and shoot say these are the kind of situations where more times than not you have a tough time lining up and getting it done. Third and short.
Well, I posed that question to June Jones, and he answered back, well,
Number 61 has reported as an eligible receiver. Number 61.
Robbie Tobek.
He was telling me to get back to that third down conversion was as high or even higher than most NFL teams. And right here you see they have to put an offensive lineman at the tight end position.
Third and less than a yard. And Emmanuel taking the snap. We mentioned a moment ago that he was a quarterback last season at Rice, and there you have it.
Well, I don't know if you remember yesterday, jokingly, Jeff George said, well, you might see him at quarterback a little bit. Right here, he comes out and runs an option.
3.9 grade point average, Bert Emmanuel.
Right here, you see him behind center, coming down the line of scrimmage. He has the pitch back there, the player, but he takes it, and I believe he gets the first down. Right here, 87, Bert Emmanuel. Nice push by that offensive line. He turns it upfield, gets the first down.
Well, they have the regular quarterback in there again now. In Jeff George. First and 10. Nowhere to go. Robert Porcher, the first to step in there and make the hit. Actually be a loss of close to a yard.
Well, they have a couple guys along that defensive front, Kelvin Pritchett and Porcher, you know, talking about, well, they came into camp late, they're out of shape. But Pat Swilling really believes that these guys are coming around, they're in shape, they're ready to play regardless to what everybody else is saying. He thinks those two guys are excellent athletes.
Well, it appears as though George will let the clock run out. He does, and that will mark the end of the first quarter. The Lions cashed in on their first drive. Derek Moore barreling in from a yard out. We go to the second quarter, 7-0.
In the face and say, am I really here? But it's a great thrill to be included with those players.
Second down and 12 for the Falcons. George throws a little high, trying to find Terrence Mathis. I was getting ready to ask while we were standing in front of the camera there a second ago if anybody could see me. You're this big mountainous Californian of a guy, and I'm about 5'8". There's a flag on the field, and it will go against Atlanta, apparently. At least that's what the Detroit defense is saying, and yes, it does.
I've noticed since we've been on the road doing a couple of games, I see you in the weight room all the time lifting. It's been impressive.
Well, I got to get you used to getting hit again.
Personal foul. Offense number 70, a headbutt. 15-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
Headbutt? What do we have, a WWF here? What's the deal? I don't think I've ever heard that one, headbutt. That's a new one. Bob Whitfield from Stanford. Maybe that's something they taught at Stanford, because I'd never heard of that.
Well, some of the numbers from the first quarter. And clearly dominated by Detroit.
They have, yeah, except the time of possession here. As I look on the screen, 4:33 for the Lions, 10:27. They struck quickly.
Second and 27. George downfield, nearly intercepted. And they are saying that ball was trapped. It is a down ball. Willie Clay trying to get away with one there, and it looked as though Jeff George had Andre Rison open just to get through high.
Pass was ruled incomplete. Third down.
It looked like it was intercepted. I believe it might have been tipped because of the way the ball came out. Here he is. George, Jeff George steps up, and it looked like it was deflected, and that allowed it to float up, and William Clay looks like he made the interception. It appeared that he got his hands under the ball, but the officials, they have the last say. They called it incomplete.
Well, now a third and 27. This is an offensive lineman's nightmare.
No question about it. This is the last situation you want to be in as an offensive lineman. A third and a mile or a final drive trying to score before the game's over.
George back to throw, flushed out of the pocket. Flag comes down, and he just throws that away.
The Lions starting to get pressure on the quarterback. It appears it might be a holding penalty. That usually is what happens when they throwing that area. Right here you have Mike Kent, 78 against Swift. Nice stunt there.
Holding.
Forshey gets
Offense,
excellent
number
penetration
70.
between the guard and tackle and doesn't allow them to make the switch on that play. Therefore, they get the pressure on Jeff George.
Atlanta will have to kick it away. Harold Alexander back in punt formation. Mel Gray to return. And it's out of the end zone. Unable to find the football there. Number 37, Elbert Shelley. He might have had a chance to keep that one down. 7-0 Detroit. Back in the Pontiac Silverdome, a 7-0 Detroit lead. We're into the second quarter, and the Lions scored on their opening drive and really haven't been heard from since.
Well, as we talked at the beginning of the game, defensive lines have to get that pressure, and it appears late in the first quarter they started to get that pressure.
Scott Mitchell, the quarterback, and this is his first season with Detroit. Ty Halleck lined up in the backfield, a backup tight end. Herman Moore able to make the catch. Gain him about 5.
When we talk about pressure, there's different ways to get pressure. One-on-one or working a game with your other buddy along the defensive line. Right here you see number 91, Robert Porcher, gets penetration, and most teams or area blocking teams that once you knock off either the tackle or the guard, you cannot remain on that same level and pick up the stunts. That ruins your whole blocking scheme when one guy or the other lets that penetration come through. Right
That's Swilling. Oh, he's had some tremendous seasons. He's hoping for another one here in 94. The give is to Sanders. And he's up close to the first down. Depending on the spot, he needed 4.
The thing about Barry Sanders, it can be a 60-yard run, a 2 or 3-yard run. They're all exciting. Barry Sanders makes every time he grabs the ball very exciting to watch.
And a good start for Barry Sanders. Sanders donates money, $1 every time he gains a yard. He's donated over $15,000 alone last season. And he missed 5 games. Sanders again. Tried to cut it back. And a good defensive play made by Clay Matthews. Oh, he talked about 17 years from Mike Kent. You said you can't even believe that Matthews is in another uniform other than Cleveland.
It's rare to see Clay Matthews, who, of course, I played for Cincinnati for 13 years. Clay was up there by the lake, and we played against each other twice a year, and all of a sudden I see him in a Falcon uniform, and it's just foreign to me. Great player. I think this is going to be a great pickup for the Atlanta Falcons. 2nd
down and 8. And Mitchell back to throw. Here comes the pressure. He's able to get away. And it is thrown to Ron Hall, and it's incomplete. And it was coming from the outside, number 50, Ron George.
I tell you, there's a guy that, at the beginning of the show, we mentioned Ron George is more of a linebacker, defensive back type of player. Right here, it comes from the outside. Nobody really picks him up, unaccounted for. Oh, Scott Mitchell does a great job of avoiding George, steps up, makes the throw, almost caught by Ron Hall, but not quite. It's ruled incomplete pass, but someone has to account for that blitzing man. If not, Scott Mitchell did a great job in getting away from him.
George having to leave the game a bit wobbly. 3rd down and 8. And Mitchell finds his target, but it's well short of the first down. Brett Perryman on the reception. And again, Vinnie Clark and Jesse Tuggle here to put on the hit. So Detroit will have to punt it away.
Well, Scott Mitchell, 6'6", 230 pounds. He can see over those outstretched arms you see right there. Makes a nice throw. It helps when you're 6'6". You can see over linemen that are 6'3", 6'4", that have their arms up as he did right there.
Kicking away, Greg Montgomery. Tony Smith is deep, and he'll have lots of room. Up across the 40, and he returns it to the 43. So Atlanta trailing 7-0. Outstanding field position. And we'll be back with more right after this. Super Sunday kicks off tonight at 7 Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Boy, Terry Bradshaw riding in on the horse to work out in Hollywood in our pregame show. 1st and 10 for Jeff George and the Falcons, trailing the Lions 7-0. And it's going to be offsides, more than likely against the Falcons.
Encroachment. Defense, number 94.
They're going to get Kelvin Pritchett.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, Tom, what you have this year, you have a rule change where the defensive lineman is no longer allowed to jump across the offensive line of scrimmage and get back. Once he goes through that neutral zone, it's a penalty. And right here you see number 94, Kelvin Pritchett, getting across, but it doesn't matter. Contact, no contact, it's a penalty this year.
1st and 5 for George and the Falcons. They give us to Pegram. And he is met head on by number 51, Broderick Thomas. They brought him in at the beginning of training camp as a free agent released by the Buccaneers.
A lot of times you get a new player and there's a lot of baggage that you think the guy might have. There's a lot of things you hear about a player, and I think that was Broderick Thomas's case. They heard things about him, but they got him in camp, and Wayne Vaughn said this might have been our defensive MVP in the preseason, which makes them excited because they have someone on the other side to complement Pat Swilling.
They call him the Sandman. He puts people to sleep. 2nd and 5 for the Falcons at their own 47. Again, the handoff. Big hole for Pegram across the 40. Still on his feet, and he's pushed out of bounds to the 28. What a run by Eric Pegram, 4th last season in the NFL in rushing. He was 5th in total yards.
A great runner Pegram is, but right here you can see number 78, Mike Ken, pushing Swilling to the outside. That opens up the big hole where Eric Pegram can just take it down the sideline. But Mike Ken does an excellent job. Right here, 78, pushing Swilling out in that big hole. Lincoln Kennedy on Porsche. Maybe I could have run through that hole.
Don't bet on it. Don't bet on it. Your weight doesn't come down that much. 1st and 10. And the handoff goes to Pegram. He pushes forward against about 3-4 Lion tacklers, including Swilling, Blades, and Johnson.
So you're... Am I getting that maybe I couldn't have run through that hole?
Well, I mean, I know you run every day, but you wouldn't have made it through before that thing closed up. I I hate to break your heart here.
Maybe I could have tripped and rolled through it. Maybe
that might have been a better bet. 2nd down and 4. Falcons trailing 7-0. George rolls right. And he will be able to step out of bounds and pick up the first down. So the Falcons keep the drive alive. Let's send it back to James Brown in our Hollywood studio for an NFL update.
All right, Tom. Brett Favre and Sterling Sharp hooked up on 11 scoring strikes last year. They do it again this year. Favre to Sharp. And Green Bay leads at 10-0. That in the second. Right now, back to Atlanta and Detroit with Tom.
All right, JB, thanks much. The Falcons trying to tie this one up. June Jones and his team trailing 7-0. 1st and 10 at the Lions 17. Greg Hayward ahead of steam. Down inside the 10. And the longtime New Orleans Saint a season ago with Chicago. And boy, they like the way he's playing with Atlanta.
Well, here's one of those guys that had to be taken to the truck stop to be weighed. But now he's gone down, and he's doing an excellent job of running the football. Number 34, Ironhead Hayward right here. Nice cut. A man that big, able to take it up to the line of scrimmage and make that cut. This guy has a lot of ability, and they're excited about Craig Hayward this year.
Well, he's turned his life around off the field in many ways. It is 2nd and 1. And the give again to Hayward, enough for the first down. And so it'll be 1st and goal for the Falcons. Thomas in on the tackle. And, well, Hayward acknowledging openly, outwardly, that he had bouts with drinking too much. He's cleaned his life up, lost a lot of weight, and he has a new outlook not only in his personal life but his professional career.
Well, I think that's a key point you make for personal life. I think being able to play football again is great, but until you make that change in your life, that's what it's all about. And I saw him down on the field before the game. He looked pretty good.
1st and goal at the 5. Pegram back in the backfield. George hands it off to him. Just shy of the goal line. He is finally stopped by Harry Colin. It'll bring up 2nd and goal from inside the 1.
I mentioned being weighed at the truck stop. I can relate to that because that's where they used to have to weigh myself. Right here you can see once again Mike Ken. Nice hand placement. Gets a hand. It's right there.
Oh,
just pushing on the chest.
Come on.
Gets that separation.
That's holding.
No, it's just a nice little push by Mike Ken.
No, you guys stick together too much. You got to be kidding me. 2nd and goal. Touchdown Atlanta. Eric Pegram slams it down with authority, and the Falcons are hoping to tie.
As we looked at film on the Falcons, we knew that they had a quarterback that could throw the ball back there, but we also saw that they had a guy like Eric Pegram, Craig Hayward. They could give it to them and run the ball. And right here you see down on the goal line, they give it to Pegram, and he goes in untouched. Untouched. Maybe that hole I could have gone through.
Yeah, that one maybe.
I mean, there's got to be a hole that I could run through.
Well, if the linemen get a hold of everybody's jersey, you can go through all of them. Now on the kick, Norm Johnson. Boy, what a year he had last season. Still in tremendous shape, 13 years out of UCLA. And he has tied the game. So with 7:34 left to go, the Falcons have tied the Lions here at the Silverdome 7-7. On Fox. Thom Brennaman, Anthony Munoz. A 7-7 game. The Falcons going 58 yards in 8 plays to tie it up. Running in Eric Pegram, and now on to kick it off is Norm Johnson. Derek Moore up close to the 30 and out to the 33. Let's go get him now. Let's go. That was a very impressive drive by Jeff George and the Atlanta Falcons. You see the 8 plays, 58 yards, capped off by the Pegram run.
Well, that has to be a confidence builder for Jeff George and that coaching staff to go out there against a real good Detroit Lion defense and put a drive together like that. He should be feeling more and more comfortable with that offense now.
1st and 10 for Scott Mitchell and the Detroit Lions. Mitchell 4 of 8, 56 yards thus far. Sanders cuts it back. And he is wrestled down just before he was able to escape by Kevin Ross. Every time this guy touches the ball, this place just comes electric.
It looked like there was not a very big hole, but he squirted through there. You see it right here to give to Sanders. He takes it up, and right there you see nice block by Dave Lutz, the right tackle, that squirts him loose. Like we said earlier, every time he touches the ball, you expect something big. Even if it's a 3-4 yard run, they're exciting.
Barry Sanders had that knee injury a season ago. Missed 5 games, and he carries straight ahead. He'll be shy of the first down, but then Sanders able to come back for the playoff game against the Packers and rush for 169 yards.
Tom, earlier in the game, I stated something about the new rule with the defensive lineman going across the line of scrimmage. If nobody moves and the lineman doesn't make contact and he gets back, that's still okay. But before, if the offensive lineman moved, it was an offensive penalty. Now it's a defense only if the offense moves. If there's no contact, he can still get back.
3rd down and 2. All the tight end in motion. They'll hand it off to Sanders. And I don't think he got enough. What a collision. And Alton Montgomery able to tackle him before he could get to the first down mark. I wonder if Clay Matthews made the initial hit there. We'll have to check it in a bit, but nonetheless, Detroit will have to punt.
Now you talk about Clay Matthews, an excellent football player. You have Lomas Brown, number 75, coming out to block, and there's a little combination block with the tight end. Lomas on that one has to come out and block the defensive back, and the tight end takes Clay, but Clay Matthews makes an excellent play.
Montgomery booms it out there. Tony Smith receives at the 18. Oh, what a move that was. And he turns the corner, gets out past the 30. Wow. A flag is down on the play. But Tony Smith, 3rd-year player out of Southern Mississippi, had over 1,000 yards in returns last season. They like him. 16-yard return there by Smith, and we're still waiting on the call. And to answer your question before you asked, yes, he would have faked you out as well with that spin move.
I'm not going to argue that one.
During the return, number 22, 10-yard penalty. It will be first down.
So the infraction going against Atlanta. A 7-7 game here in the second quarter. Thom Brennaman alongside Anthony Munoz. A 7-7 game, the Falcons and the Lions, with 5:19 to go in the second quarter. And Atlanta a moment ago putting together a long drive to tie it up. And our game summary, you see Pegram and Sanders pretty much in a dead heat.
Not bad so far. As we talked earlier, both defenses quite aware that they had to play well. And so far, they're not doing a bad job.
So George brings him out. 1st and 10 at the 22. Lots of time. Long ball to Rison. Nearly intercepted by Greg Jeffries. Well, we brought up earlier, Robert Massey went down with an injury to the ankle. And now Jeffries, a man out there responsible for covering Andre Rison.
Had a little help from Willie Clay. I believe Rison had him beat a little bit. It might have been a little underthrown, but it was still a nice play by Greg Jeffries.
Well, your old mate's taking a beating to the Cleveland Browns. That hurts, doesn't it?
Give me a hanky. I got a lot of close friends there. It's hurting my heart.
2nd down and 10. Pegram off the right side. Maybe 5. It'll bring up 3rd down, and a long situation for George and the Falcons. Thomas and Pritchett in on the tackle.
And we've been talking about Mike Kent along that offensive line. He's got a pretty good-sized guy next to him, Lincoln Kennedy, who's about 6'7", maybe, 340, 350. A young guy, so he's just starting to catch on to the offensive line play, but he said Mike Kent's helped him out quite a bit.
Pegram, the lone setback. 3rd and 5 for the Falcons. And they'll hand it off. Oh, the initial hit made by number 94, Kevin Pritchett. And still coming up short of the first down is Pegram. Helping on the tackle is Broderick Thomas.
As we talked to Pat Swilling yesterday, he was really, really high on Kelvin Pritchett and Robert Porcher. He said these two guys have Pro Bowl ability, and look for them as they get more experience to get better and better and someday be in that Pro Bowl. He was speaking highly of these two guys.
Harold Alexander back to kick it. Mel Gray waiting to receive. That one over near the sideline. See where they'll make the spot. It'll be, out to the 36. So that's where Scott Mitchell and the Lions take over. Well, Anthony, we figured a big offensive battle, but it has been dominated by the likes of Swilling, Thomas, and both teams' defenses.
They're doing an excellent job. The first drive by the Lions, they go down, they strike, they hit quickly in 3 plays. The Falcons put a nice drive together, but overall, both defenses have really raised their level of play and said, hey, we realize there's a lot of offensive weapons. We have to play well, and so far they're doing that.
1st down and 10 for Scott Mitchell, who is 4 of 8 for 56 yards so far, and this is his first start with Detroit, signing the big contract as a free agent. Mitchell throws high to Herman Moore. Great coverage by Vinnie Clark.
Right there, the Lion offensive line did a great job of picking up the blitz. The 2 backers stepped up, blitz. They did an excellent job. The ball thrown a little high by Scott Mitchell.
Now Mitchell, a 5th-year quarterback out of Utah. The first pass he threw last season, taking over for Dan Marino, was returned for a touchdown, 97 yards. From that point on, he went 10 out of 16, 2 touchdowns, and led him to the victory. Flags from everywhere. And this gets back to what you talked about earlier. If the defense moved, the offensive lineman all of a sudden raises up, they'll penalize the defense. Let's see if that was the case here.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Right there, you just had the offensive lineman jumping early, wanting to get start. Sean Bowens, 66, the left guard, starts a little too soon going against Jumpy Gathers. You know, you don't like to see that, but when you see a guy like Jumpy Gathers, you want every advantage that you can possibly get.
Moves him back 5 yards, 2nd and 15. Mitchell dumps it off the screen to Sanders. Escapes a couple of tackles, tries to cut back the other way. And it'll bring up 3rd and about 9 for Detroit. Or rather for Atlanta. The defense, play made by Jesse Tuggle.
That's one of the things they talked about wanting to do more this year is get the ball in Barry's hands by throwing the ball. Nice block by 67. Doug Wydell on that screen, and getting back to my point right here. Great balance, great. I mean, he's just a great runner, but one of the things they wanted to do is get the ball in his hands, not only by handing it off, by throwing the ball. And it, you know, it looks like they want to do that.
3 minutes to go in the half. A 3rd and 13 for the Lions. Here comes the pressure. Herman Moore through the hands and then nearly intercepted by Roger Harper, the 2nd-year safety out of Ohio State. So Mitchell, since the first drive, a 3-play drive in a minute to score a touchdown, has not done much.
Well, right here, he stays in the pocket pretty well, but he doesn't really have the area to follow through with this throw, and he throws it up kind of high. But, you know, he shows me a lot by just standing in there. When you have that rush right here, a little from the outside, Jumpy Gathers up the middle, but he has his offensive lineman in front of him, which kind of restricts him from throwing the ball.
Flag on the play. What a boot by Greg Montgomery, chasing Smith all the way back inside the 10. And another flag comes down. So one at the line of scrimmage, the other on the return. A 57-yard boot by Greg Montgomery, a product of Michigan State.
The second flag was obvious. 47, Roger Harper blocking the man behind in the back, and the official saw that. That was obvious up here. You could see, and he tried to hold off, but he did hit him in the back.
Chris Spielman, the captain of this Lion defense. Oh, was it enjoyable talking to him a couple of days ago about his upbringing in the tremendously rich football town of Massillon, Ohio.
Defense number 47 lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Illegal block number 47 during the return against the return team. We will penalize half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Gets a double duty there, baby. He started out the play by being offsides, and then he blocks at the back. So, I mean, he got his name called, but it wasn't for, you know, anything good there.
Well, Fox's coverage of NFL action continues after the conclusion of this game with a second half of our doubleheader. Next, it'll be Barry Switzer, the new head man in Dallas. His coaching debut as a Super Bowl champion Cowboys take on a very good Pittsburgh Steelers team. Stay tuned to Fox Sports for more doubleheader action. That ought to be some kind of game.
That'll be a great game. Pittsburgh, they got, I believe, have the best team in that AFC Central going against, of course, two-time Super Bowl winners, Dallas Cowboys.
Deep in his own territory, Jeff George, 1st and 10. The handoff to Pegram, escapes one tackle. And immediately Detroit is going to call a timeout. Chris Spielman in on the tackle. Spielman, a 3-time Pro Bowler.
Detroit, their first charge timeout. This is a 40-second timeout.
And I guess you'd have to say desire, determination best describe this linebacker. Most people figured, Anthony, he was too small coming out of Ohio State.
Well, that's what I heard all the time. Chris Spielman from Massillon, Ohio, going to Ohio State, great player in college, but might not have the size to play in the NFL. And how many times have you seen a player with, they say he's not big enough, but they can't measure his heart. One prime example, a guy I played with, Tim Crumry, coming out of Wisconsin. They said he's not big enough, not fast enough. What is he, going into his 13th year?
Well, Chris Spielman talking yesterday, recalling a story back when he was in 3rd grade playing at the YMCA in basketball, said he had 4 fouls with 15 seconds left to go in the first half. His dad yelled at him from the seats, don't do anything stupid, please. Spielman got his 5th foul about 5 seconds later. A silly reach-in call. His dad yelled, "You got to be kidding me. You're walking home." And Spielman had to do that in the Ohio cold winter time.
A lot of times parents say that and don't follow through, but he was walking home.
2nd down and 8. 7-7 game. George lots of time. Throws out to Mathis. Oh, coming in is Spielman to lay on a hit. And it's good enough for the first down. So the chains will move. 2:13 left here in the first half. This should take us down to the 2-minute warning in the 7-7 game at the Silverdome. So they're content to get it down to 2 minutes left.
This is the 2-minute warning.
So we'll take a break in the action. June Jones and the Falcons tied with the Lions 7 apiece. Here's all that high-tech stuff. You know, we've talked about that before.
I tell you, you need that now when you have the AstroTurf. You can't draw your little pictures in the dirt. I mean, you have this fake carpet, so that eliminates that. You'd have to carry a little spray can or a crayon on the field, and they won't allow you to do that. They're really tight on your equipment nowadays.
1st and 10 for the Falcons with 2 minutes left to play in the first half. And the give is to Pegram. He's had a fine first half, and he gets out close to the 25. It'll bring up 2nd and flag. The clock continues to run. Mike Johnson and Broderick Thomas on the stop. There's another guy. It's hard to believe he's in a different uniform. Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson, a former Cleveland Brown also. Excellent football player. Not only a great football player, but a great individual.
2nd and 4. We're under a minute and a half to go. Pegram tries to turn it outside. Coming up and making a nice play from the cornerback position is Greg Jeffries. Again, if you weren't with us earlier, Robert Massey twisted his ankle. The starting cornerback had to leave the game. They've tested Jeffries, and he keeps making good, solid plays.
And that was one of the things that Coach Vaughn said. Here's a guy that has had a decent camp. Now it's time when the lights go on and it's time to go out and play for real. Let's see how this guy can play. And so far, he's not doing a bad job.
Are you surprised that Atlanta's not trying to move it down the field here with 2 minutes left? Or at least they had it with a 2-minute warning.
It really does surprise me, especially with the quick drops, the wide receivers they have. Just start, you know, hitting those short passes, allow them to get out of bounds, but they're running the ball.
And they'll do it again. Pegram is wrestled down, and Detroit is going to spend a timeout. They want to get the football back. Bear in mind now, they have a kicker with some kind of leg. Jason Hansen. I mean, he can boom them away.
Well, especially playing indoors, that helps a punter when you have a guy that can boom the ball to begin with, but then he doesn't have to fight with the elements.
Harold Alexander will come on to punt for the Falcons. You see that they have 2 timeouts, and maybe another reason, you know, they have 2 timeouts. They had the ball. You figure, why not try and get down the field to take the lead before halftime?
Especially when you know that the Lions are not afraid to put it up. They can take Mitchell back there. They have the guys, Herman Moore, send them deep. It's not like they lack a deep passing game. So I just don't understand why they didn't try to get down the field by throwing the football.
Well, Detroit struck early. We thought, wow, this offense certainly is put together. It took them 3 plays going down the field, capped off by a Derek Moore touchdown run, an early 7-0 lead. But then not much thereafter. In fact, nothing in terms of points. Atlanta, a long drive to tie the game. Mel Gray hoping to return. He signals for the fair catch into 25. Let's go get it. And let's see what the Lions will do. They have 24 seconds left. And again, an outstanding field goal kicker in Jason Hansen.
Well, not only an excellent field goal kicker, but they have a guy, number 84, that can jump out of this Silverdome, and they can just throw it up to him, let him run downfield, and probably can out-jump any of these defensive backs, or it probably is close. But when you have a guy, you know, number 84, Herman Moore, you can take 2 or 3 shots of going downfield.
Now, Herman Moore in his days at the University of Virginia, high jumping over 7 feet 2 inches. And he's 6'3" to begin with. So 24 seconds left, and Mitchell's going to give it a shot. He fires to the man you just talked about, Herman Moore, and nearly intercepted by Vinnie Clark, who's having a solid game.
Nice play by Vinnie Clark. Clark, the 4-year veteran out of Ohio State, and they had him matched up one-on-one on Herman Moore, but he makes the break and he knocks the pass down. Excellent defensive play. Right here, bottom of the screen, right by the numbers here. Moore takes it up, goes out, and Vinnie Clark, excellent play, makes the break, breaks on the ball, and knocks it down.
2nd and 10. Moore and the Lions at their own 27. And they'll hand it off. Sanders trying to cut back. And he nearly did get to the 35 before Jesse Tuggle was able to trip him up. And they're blowing the whistle with 7 seconds left.
Timeout. Detroit.
As the Lions will spend
Their
the
third
timeout,
and
their
final
last timeout.
charged timeout.
Well, what do you do here? You throw the long one and see what happens?
I would, if I was a head coach, and probably no chance of ever being a head coach, I would take and line up again. You have Herman Moore. You have some pretty good wide receivers. You have Anthony Carter, Brett Perryman. Put those guys out wide, and you know Scott Mitchell can throw the ball downfield. There's only 7 seconds. Not a whole lot of time to allow them, if they do pick it off, to get something going. I would send them down, try to maybe, hit one of those, what do they call it? Hail Marys? Is that what
got it.
Yeah, okay.
You got it.
But I would try to go downfield and make something happen, maybe get a second or two left on the clock, and if you catch it, then you have a chance to kick a field goal.
Well, they're going to bring in the #1 pick out of your alma mater, Southern Cal, Johnny Morton. He had some tremendous years in the Pac-10 with the Trojans.
You mentioned, weren't they winners yesterday over Washington?
Oh, yeah, I knew they'd get in sooner or later. Well, let's see what they do. 4 receivers in the game, 3 at the top of your screen. Mitchell in trouble. He'll air it out. And the ball is intercepted by Kevin Ross. He pitches off and dragged down is Darrell Walker. They try to see if they can make a big play happen there at the end of the first half. Well, Scott Mitchell, in a battle of new quarterbacks. He looked great early, but hadn't done much since.
The first half.
Well, that's the end of the first half with our score, Atlanta 7 and Detroit 7. Coming up is the Dockers halftime report as Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages from your local Fox station. Back at the Superdome, or rather the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, a 7-7 game. And we kind of talked at the beginning, and you made the point, Anthony, that you thought defenses were the key, and clearly that they were in the first half.
Well, we did make that point. We thought both offenses were going to come out and just light up the scoreboard. And the way the Lions started out, we thought that was going to be the case. But they scored on 3 plays early, but then the defenses were there, and they held them. Atlanta took a while to get going, but then they put a drive together. I think one of the keys for this second half, you look at the Lions, after that first drive, they're only averaging 3 yards on their first down plays. I believe they have to average more. Atlanta's averaging 7 on first downs.
Something we'll keep an eye out for in the second half. And speaking of the first half, it brings about our halftime highlight from the first half of play, and it's brought to you by MCI Proof Positive. This actually was the first play from scrimmage of the season for Detroit.
Well, a good way to start things out. Scott Mitchell on a quick set, quick pass to Herman Moore. Let him run the ball. They did.
And, of course, following thereafter, a Barry Sanders long run, then a Derek Moore 1-yard touchdown. And after 3 plays, Detroit had the lead. And the numbers from the first half, and pretty even in terms of total yards, only 1 turnover, that by Detroit.
Well, that's the one thing both teams have to watch against are those turnovers. So far for the first game in the regular season, both doing a good job of that.
Barry Sanders in the first half of play. Take a look, left, middle, and right.
I guess the question is this where he starts his runs? Because with Barry Sanders, you see 1 to the left, 5 in the middle, 4 to the right. Barry can start to the left, but he has the ability to go to the right. So that's where he started, and then he can take it and make it exciting.
Well, to kick it off is Norm Johnson. And back to receive Mel Gray. Juggled the ball a bit, crosses the 20 up to the 25 and nearly to the 30-yard line. Scott Mitchell, we mentioned the first 3 plays led to a touchdown on the Lions' first drive. But then that first down play really hurt them the rest of the first half, right?
Well, I'm a firm believer that you really set your offense up by what you do on first downs. You have an opportunity to do a lot more when you get a nice gain on first, and they're only getting 3 yards of crack on first down.
Barry Sanders in the backfield. The tight end, Ron Hall, in motion. And the give is to Sanders. And he burst up through the middle. A gain of about 9, close to the first down, and that's the way you do it on first down.
Well, after seeing those stats, it doesn't surprise me that they gave it to Barry right up the middle. That's not bad. 9 yards on first down, and here I sit and talk about only 3 yards on first down, and right away they rip 9 yards off again. Give it to Barry, let him do his thing. Great job by that offensive line.
Well, you've hit every nail right on the head here today, talking about the defenses in the first half. First down for the Lions here in the second half, and it's a 2nd and 1. And again, Sanders. Enough for the first down as he crosses the 40. In making the tackle is number 92, Lester Archambault.
We talk a lot about Lomas Brown at that left tackle position. You have to give credit to Sean Bowens, who started all the games in '92, but last year didn't see a whole lot of playing time. Now he's back at starting the left guard position. Kevin Glover out of Maryland, number 53 at center. Doug Weidel and David Lutz, the 12-year veteran out of Georgia Tech, along that offensive line.
2 tight ends in the game, Hall and Ty Halleck. And Mitchell to throw. Across the middle. And he picks up about half of what he needed. Herman Moore, the 4th-year star out of Virginia, making the play.
Well, we heard about his basketball abilities, and you look at these guys, and not only can they vertical jump and change the light bulbs in this Silver Dome, but they are so gifted in other areas. We talked about Barry, playing basketball, and Barry Sanders, and this guy winning this slam dunk competition. I'm in awe of all of these athletes out here.
2nd down and 5. First drive of the second half for Detroit, and Scott Mitchell says, hold on a minute.
Detroit, their first charge timeout.
So Mitchell will talk it over with his assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, Dave Levy. We'll be right back. 7-7 game back in Detroit. Dave Levy, the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator. This is 6th year with the Lions. Spent part of his coaching tenure in San Diego, the Air Coryell days, and was 16 years at your alma mater, Southern California. 2nd and 5. Sanders takes a handoff outside, cuts back in, across the 40, and into Falcon territory. Kevin Ross able to wrestle him down. 16-yard gain for Barry Sanders.
Going over that left side of Lomas Brown, Sean Bowens, nice block there, takes it up and then outside and gets around that defensive end. Nice run by Barry Sanders. They've come out this second half and say, okay, we're going to get him a little running room here.
1st and 10 at the Falcon 38. 7-7 game here in the 3rd quarter. The end around. It's Brennaman. Enough for yet another first down. So Brett Brennaman taking a handoff after the fake to Sanders and picks up a big gainer.
Well, setting it up really well by giving it to Sanders, give it to Sanders, fake it to Sanders, give it to Perryman coming around the right side. Big number 67, Doug Weidel right here on Ron George. Nice block. And he takes it. Nice gain on the end around. Fake to Barry Sanders. Right here you see it. Nice fake. Sucks the linebackers up to Barry Sanders. Give it to Brett Perryman coming around. 67, Doug Weidel on a nice block. Nice gain. First down, Lions.
1st and 10 after the 11-yard pickup. The ball at the Falcon 27. The fake able to escape pressure, and Mitchell throws short. Trying to find the tight end Ty Halleck, and Chris Dolman was in hot pursuit. You know it when he's coming after you.
Yeah, you can. If you don't see him, you'll hear him. He's a big guy, and he's quick for his size. You know, other than that pass to Herman Moore, he's not been throwing the ball that well. He hasn't been really sharp. Right there, even though he was on the run, he had a receiver open and threw it into the ground.
See the numbers on Mitchell. He has hit on just 6 of 15. 2nd and 10. Flag comes down. Mitchell complete on the pass. And short of the first down is Herman Moore, but we'll see who the penalty will go against. Offsides against Atlanta. Well, we understand an update from Robert Massey, injured in the first half. Turned the ankle, and he will not return to play today.
Right here, we're looking at Dick Hantak making the call.
Offside, defense number 90, lined up in the neutral zone.
Goes against Chuck Smith, third-year pro out of Tennessee.
Penalty is accepted, 5 yards. Repeat the down, 2nd down.
Talking to Dick Hantak on the field before the game, the head official here, he comes over and he shakes my hand. And I don't know if he's glad that I'm not playing, because I screamed a little bit once in a while, but these guys said, don't be too tough on us up in the booth. And I'm saying, well, you guys do a pretty good job overall. I won't do I won't rip you guys apart or.
Well, you know, your high-flying Cincinnati offense from back in the 1980s, Sam Weiss, the innovator of the no-huddle offense. You guys wreaked havoc all over the officiating crews. 2nd and 5 at the 22. Here comes a blitz. Mitchell picks it up, throws for the corner, and a penalty flag comes down. It'll be interference against Vinnie Clark. He was out on an island with Herman Moore.
That's exactly what they've been saying the last couple of days. As we spent time here talking to them, they said, our guy to go to is Herman Moore. Anytime he's out there
Pass
one-on-one.
interference, defense number 27, automatic first down, spot of the foul.
Right here you see Vinnie Clark. Nice move by Herman Moore. Gave him a little outside move, but right there you see it's obvious the contact on Herman Moore by Vinnie Clark. 1st and goal for the Detroit Lions. Again, anytime you have Herman Moore one-on-one out there with the defensive back, more times than not, they're going to go to him.
Derek Moore and Eric Lynch. Well, they had come in for a moment, and now Derek Moore will leave, and Barry Sanders comes back into the game. Boy, their body's shuffling all over the place, and somebody's going to have to spend a timeout. Confusion on both sides.
Timeout, defense, Atlanta, their first charged timeout.
So the first half, or rather the first timeout used, it's 7-7 here in the third. Oh, Anthony Munoz to be a cornerback in the National Football League.
Well, I tell you, probably one of the toughest positions in the league. Right here you see Vinnie Clark on Herman Moore. First of all, grabs his jersey, gets a little separation, but then there's some more contact. Penalty against Vinnie Clark. Well, it's tough enough out there playing quarterback, but when you're matched up against Herman Moore, it's even that much tougher.
Well, it's 1st and goal in this 7-7 game for the Lions. 11:06 to go in the third quarter. Barry Sanders, the lone setback. Pair of tight ends in the game. Quick pop, touchdown, Herman Moore. A 4-yard scoring throw. Mitchell to Moore, the combination they're looking for big things from this season. And a first touchdown pass for Scott Mitchell with Detroit.
Well, once again, he's working on Vinnie Clark, number 27. Short drop. Mitchell just puts it up and gives Moore time just to turn around, make the catch. Vinnie Clark complaining. He might be complaining that there was a little bit of a push off there, but no call. 6 points, Detroit.
Jason Hansen on for the extra point. The holder is Dave Craig. And the Lions have taken their second lead of the game. They go 70 yards in 7 plays. A 4-yard score from Mitchell to Moore and a 7-point Lions advantage.
Raindrops
After NFL football, and Scott Mitchell didn't stop on that drive. 70 plays and a scoring toss to Herman Moore.
Do you think we could take a guess at who his favorite receiver is?
Yeah.
Or his favorite back?
And that'd be a real tough one. Hansen to kick it off. Smith, the deep man. Boy, every single Hansen kick has gone into the end zone, and Smith's going to bring it out. Outside to the 15. Tries to turn the corner. He gets back shy of the 20. Ty Halleck making the hit. The ball squirted loose, but they say he was already down. 23-yard return. Well, they like this Ty Halleck. Former linebacker at Michigan State, and he's converted into a tight end.
That's one of the positions that they're sitting in a nice situation. They have Ron Hall, who came over from the Buccaneers, and Ty Halleck. Right here, you see, this rule of kicking off from the 30 instead of 35 doesn't affect some guys, but right here he fumbles it, picks it up, and he's going to bring it out. He doesn't matter if he fumbles it, he's going to take it out right here. Ty Halleck makes the stop.
First and 10 for Jeff George and the Falcons. Swings it out left side to Rison, trying to make something happen. And he crosses the 25. Mike Johnson in on the hit. Giants in front of Philadelphia. Green Bay pitching the shutout against Warren Moon and the Vikings. Tampa Bay trying to get back in it. Your old head coach, Sam Weish. Speaking of old team.
Not looking good.
Hang in there, my man. And what a stunner that is. Indianapolis unbeaten in the preseason. George on the quick hitter to Terrence Mathis. And it appears as though it's good enough for the first down.
Again, working on Greg Jeffries, number 25, who's in there for Robert Massey. Tom, I sit up here and I listen to those helmets hit and the shoulder pads, and you keep mentioning the comeback. That's exactly why I'm sitting up here in this booth, because I continue to hear that, and they're not getting any softer. It's getting harder and harder when you hear those hits.
Yeah, but they're making it easier and easier for your old position. You move back off the line of scrimmage now. You got to be kidding. First and 10 at the 31. George again swings it out to Rison. He misses one man. The ball comes loose, but not before he'd been run out of bounds. A gain of 8. And Willie Clay able to push him out. It'll bring up 2nd and 2, and Rison is down on the sideline.
Rison slow getting up. Number 80, Andre Rison. He's moving around pretty good, so he's walking here, a little limp. Here's a play that we've seen over and over in the films as we watch this week preparing for the game. What you do is you get the ball out quickly to Andre Rison. He circles back a little bit, but when you have is big Lincoln Kennedy and another offensive lineman coming out, blocking. It's like a little screen, but instead of leaving him out there one-on-one with the defensive back, get a couple of those big offensive linemen out there to block for him.
2nd and 2 for the Falcons, trailing 14-7. Rison out for the time being, and Leonard Harris replaces him. Inside handoff, Pegram cuts it back. Enough for the first down, still on his feet, and almost getting to midfield before Tracy Hayworth able to tackle it. Well, I like Pegram. You don't hear much about him. We brought up earlier, Anthony, this guy was 4th in the NFL in rushing last season.
That's right. You hear about the guys that are in the playoffs and the Super Bowls, but this guy here, excellent year last year, and he shows why he had a great year last year. Right here, George hands off the ball. He makes a nice cut there, avoiding the defensive line. Chris Spillman has a chance to tackle him. Mike Johnson has a chance. Great run by Pegram right there.
George swings it out to Mathis. And the short passing game for the Falcons here in the second half. A little bit different strategy, and they're moving the football.
Well, the one thing we talked about was the pressure, the defensive pressure, and they realized, I believe, that the Lion front 7 were getting pressure on the quarterback. So now they've started going to that short set, the quick passes, and they've been effective doing this.
And we haven't heard much from that man, Pat Swilly.
Again, Mike Ken, who's done an excellent job over the last 12, 14 meetings, once again keeping 56 Pat Swilling quiet this afternoon.
Pegram again takes a handoff, and he is met head-on by the former Buckeye, Chris Spielman. You know, you bring up that matchup, Mike Ken and Pat Swilling. Ken has held the advantage. He has not allowed a sack, not one, in 13 of the last 14 games going toe-to-toe with Swilling.
That is a great stat, and as we talked about Mike Ken earlier, talking about the excellent player he is, that's obvious because he's going against an excellent pass rusher, and to shut him down that many times, that only tells you that he is a great offensive lineman.
That's what you used to do to Bruce Smith. Hayward, the lone setback. Right side. Again, the catch is made by Terrence Mathis, and a big hit made by Benny Blades, a seventh-year pro out of Miami. A couple of Miami players right there, and Blades 36 and Ryan McNeil.
Couple old Buckeyes. Or tell you, these guys, they get back there and they have so much ability, and they can close on a short pass like that. A guy looks like he's open right here. Benny Blades from Miami of Florida in the 7th season, and they come up at 221 pounds and show great quickness. 2nd and 7. This time it's caught by Brennaman, and he's shy of the first down, getting across the 35. Gang tackled there. A host of Lions around the football, led by number 51. I'm sorry, coming into the game, Broderick Thomas. We have an injured player on the field right now. Kelvin Pritchett, number 94, the excellent defensive lineman for the Lions, on the ground.
They're hoping that's nothing serious. There's going to be a timeout on the field. Detroit a touchdown here in the 3rd quarter. A 7-point lead, 5:56 to go.
You're watching Fox NFL Sunday.
Kelvin Pritchett able to walk off the field. That's a good sign. Apparently he's all right.
It really is. It shows that it's not his legs. He's kind of lifting his arm there. It might be a shoulder or a neck. He came in to assist on the tackle. He's kind of moving his head around. Here's it right here. Coming into the screen, 94 right there. And he collides with Chris Spielman. It might be his neck that he kind of dinged up there.
3rd down and 3 for Atlanta. And here comes the blitz. And a nice job by Jeff George getting it to Terrence Mathis, and another Atlanta first down, although a flag is on the field. And George applauding the flag, so arguing is Pat Swilling.
Pat's not real happy about the penalty here.
The passer defense, number 91, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, they got Robert Forshea roughing Jeff George.
Well, a lot of times you can become frustrated. Nobody blocks him. Jeff George throws the ball, and he takes about 2 or 3 steps. Obvious penalty, uncalled for. I don't see why Pat Swilling's arguing about that. It was obvious that Robert Forshea actually roughed the quarterback.
It used to be, you know, after the ball, the throwing motion was through the zone, and now it's after the ball leaves the quarterback's hand. So 1st and 10 on the Lions 14. Pegram hit by number 90, Dan Owens. A short gain. Bring up 2nd down and long.
Falcons really like these screens. They've been running them in this drive, and I mean, it's an excellent play. If you're getting a little pressure from the defensive lineman, a good way to change it up and not actually hand the ball off. But right here you see, you let the defensive lineman come through, you just dump it off to your back. Eric Pegram, he has a couple of those big linemen out in front of him, Bob Whitfield and Mike Sandowski. But nice play by Dan Owens from USC, 5th-year player.
Audible by Jeff George on a 2nd and 7. Throws it out. Caught. Spin move. Going for the end zone and just shy. Down to the 2 is Terrence Mathis. Fine tackle made by Greg Jeffries, saving 6 points.
Falcons doing an excellent job picking up the blitz up the middle. Detroit has the linebackers, and they come up. Just an excellent recognition of the offensive lineman picking it up. There we go, Mike Johnson. There you go, Lincoln Kennedy picking him. Mike Ken blocking down, taking Robert Porcher. It's a matter of taking the inside gap, which is the closest gap to the quarterback. You might have to let the outside guy go, but if you can block off that blitz as they did, you can complete the pass.
First down and goal to go. Touchdown, Atlanta. Andre Rison. He promised us he'd get a touchdown today. He said it would be at about 1:07 in the afternoon. Roughly a couple of hours later, he is in the end zone.
That's right. A couple hours later, it's 3:07. He did say 1:07, but regardless to the timing, he got one. He knew he was going to get one, and he did.
Well, he knew 7 was in there.
That's right. That's right. He wasn't sure of the hour, but he had the minute right on the button.
So now on to try and add the extra point, which would tie the game, is Norm Johnson. And it's right down the chute. 14-14 our score as a touchdown toss goes from George to Rison. A 14-14 game here at the Silver Dome in Pontiac. Andre Rison, he had 15 touchdowns a season ago, tied for first in the NFL. He has his first here in '94.
What did he call himself? The underground wide receiver. Right. He said there's a couple commercial wide receivers, but he referred to himself as the underground. Right here you see 12 plays, 80 yards, 7 minutes and 12 seconds. Jeff George 10 for 10 on that drive. The 2-yard touchdown to Andre Rison. Not a bad drive.
And kicking off is Atlanta. Mel Gray back to return across the 20. Oh, he is stunned. What a hit by Charles Washington. Well, Fox's coverage of NFL action continues after the conclusion of the game with the second half of today's doubleheader. Up next, new coach Barry Switzer makes his regular season coaching debut when the Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Stay tuned to Fox Sports for more doubleheader action. 14 apiece. The defending Central Division champion Lions against this Atlanta Falcon team. They brought in 11 new players from a season ago. Barry Sanders across the 30. He'll be about 3 or 4 yards shy of the first down. Ron George on the stop.
They're going to a side that has a couple of decent football players. I use decent, but they're excellent football players, and Chris Dolman and Clay Matthews over on that side. And the Lions running the ball effectively, giving it to Barry Sanders, going behind Sean Bollins and Lomas Brown. They've been attacking that side the whole time.
2nd and 2. Lions at their own 32-yard line. Sanders cuts it back. And a fine tackle made right there by the veteran Pierce Holt. We haven't said his name a great deal today. Former San Francisco 49er.
Pierce Holt on a championship Niner team. He's here. He's in 7th year out of Angelo State. But the thing about Pierce Holt, he's only in his 7th year. But a thing he made clear as I talked to him before the game, I said, how you feeling? He goes, well, I'm 33 years old. And, you know, even though he's in his 7th, he's up there in his 30s. And I think he's feeling a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't start college till he was 22 years old. Ron Hall and Ty Halleck, 2 tight ends set for the 3rd and 1. And they give us to Moore, and up for the first down. And then some. Derek Moore dragged out of bounds by Roger Harper. And it's good enough for a first down.
There's a penalty mark
Defense,
on the field.
number 95, lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. First down.
Figures, we were talking about Pierce Holt.
Talking about the kind of career Pierce Holt has had, and all of a sudden he lines up offsides, and the Lions, even without the penalty, pick up a first down.
Mentioned Holt didn't start college till he was 22. I mean, he did everything out of high school. Construction worker, was a Santa Claus in a shopping mall, then elected to go on and try football, and he made the right choice. Mitchell Throws to Sanders. Cuts back. Flag on the play. And a gain of almost 9 for Barry Sanders. But let's see. Harper and Jesse Tuggle on the hit.
Well, when you have that many people back there by the quarterback and the flag goes down, it's usually a holding penalty, and that's the indication the official is giving, holding on the Detroit Lions.
Holding. Offense, number 67, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Doug Weidel whistled for the holding call.
Even with the pressure, with the holding penalty, Scott Mitchell showed me a lot by him just sitting there. He knew the pressure was up in his face, but he still completed that pass to Barry Sanders. But they're moving it back with the holding. Right here you see the penalties. You know, that's the one thing they want to eliminate are those penalties.
Harriman in motion. First and 20 for Mitchell and the Lions. Sanders with a couple of blockers out in front. Watch out. And he is grabbed by the jersey, Ron George, on the stop. Well, the Falcons have done a pretty decent job at tackling today, haven't they, Anthony?
They really have. A lot of times, you know, just coming out of camp, might be a little rusty, quite not in regular season form, but both teams, there's been some big hits, some excellent tackles, and right there, you know, with Ron George making the tackle on Barry Sanders, nice tackle. Well,
Sanders has just topped the 100-yard mark in rushing today. It's nothing new for him. He'll try to add to that total. And a couple of Falcons in on the stop. George is there again, along with the veteran Clay Matthews. So now a 3rd and long for Detroit.
You talk about Barry Sanders over 100 yards. Atlanta defense last year, only one individual rushing for more than 100 yards, and that was Ricky Watters of the 49ers, 112 yards. That's quite a feat to go a whole season with just allowing one to gain over 100 yards. And Barry Sanders does it here in the opening week.
They were killed by the pass, however. Dead last in the NFL. 3rd down and 11. Mitchell, pump fake. Down the sideline, Herman Moore makes a play close to the 30, enough for a Lion first down.
Well, at times it doesn't seem fair. You have Barry Sanders back there. You give him the ball, you give him the ball, you throw the ball to him. All of a sudden, you have Herman Moore one-on-one, Benny Clark right here. Little zone. Needs a little help there. Here comes right here. Alton Montgomery, number 22, comes over a little late, but they make the reception, or Herman Moore makes the reception. Nice play.
23-yard gain. 1st and 10. Ball at the Atlanta 33. The handoff to Sanders with room. Up close to another Lions first down. Well, they're going to their 2 main men here in the 3rd quarter, the waning moments.
This is the conclusion of the
final
third
play
quarter.
of the 3rd quarter. The teams trading touchdowns. Herman Moore, a grab for the Lions. Andre Rison, one for the Falcons. We go to the 4th in a dead heat. Detroit on its first drive, a 1-yard run by Derek Moore and a 7-0 lead. It lands a long drive in the 2nd. A touchdown run by Eric Pegram tied the game at halftime. And the star wideouts rising for the Falcons. Moore of Detroit swapping touchdowns in the 3rd. 14-14, and here we go in the final quarter. 2nd and 1 at the Falcon 24. Sanders, another big hole. He's inside the 20. All right, now let's throw it back to James Brown in our Hollywood studio for an NFL update. JB.
Hey, Tom, Barry Sanders not the only one having big holes. Take a look at little David Meggett hiding behind his convoy blockers, breaks out for a 26-yard run, and the score that added to his 68-yard punt return. Giants on top, 28-13. Back to Thom Brennaman.
Thom Brennaman, Anthony Munoz, thank you very much. James Brown, a good one here in Detroit. 14 apiece, 1st and 10. The ball at the 18 of Atlanta. Mitchell. Ball is caught. Anthony Carter down near the 5.
Well,
That's
you
his
go
second
to,
catch.
excuse me, Tom, you go to Herman Moore, you go to Barry Sanders, Brett Perryman, all of a sudden you go to Anthony Carter. You got him right here. Nice move. Get away from DJ Johnson. Anthony Carter, not that big a guy. We're talking to him. They have him listed at 181. You say, how much do you actually weigh? He says, 169. Got a little bigger. They said, well, you're getting slower. Says, now I got to get down and wait to keep my speed.
First down and goal. Sanders met head on that time by Pierce Holt. Good play by the veteran. Mo Gardner also in on the stop.
Getting back to Anthony Carter, talking to Wayne Fonts about him, he felt that not only did they receive an excellent football player in Anthony Carter, but he brought over some character, great work ethic. They're happy about having a guy like Anthony Carter. And also started his football career here. He's back home.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more thrilled about that.
Played down the road in Ann Arbor at the University of Michigan. Second and goal from the 5. Sanders, and again, here's Holt right there. Got a little bit of help. So they have wrapped up Sanders on back-to-back plays. Again, Gardner and Holt right in the thick of the Falcon defense.
We talked about Pierce Holt earlier. Has had a great career and continues to play well. Right there, he just overpowers Doug Weidel, makes the play. Excellent penetration by Pierce Holt. Makes the penetration, gets the offensive lineman out of position and goes through to make the stop on Barry Sanders. Excellent penetration, excellent play.
All right, third and goal now, backed up to the 9. And Mitchell to throw. Touchdown! Anthony Carter.
Well, you're looking from Scott Mitchell's vantage point here. He drops back, has great protection, finds Anthony Carter in the end zone, hits him. Once again, shows that nice poise, standing back there, looking over the field, finds Carter, makes the throw and the completion for 6 points.
Hansen trying to make it 21-14 Detroit. And does. So Anthony Carter returns to the state of Michigan. He takes a touchdown toss from Mitchell. The Lions by 7.
Reinhold Bertleff had a key role.
Good look at the Renaissance Center downtown Detroit. And the hometown Lions in front of the Atlanta Falcons 21-14 with 12-13 left in the game. Andre Rison hoping he can bring in another touchdown grab from Jeff George, who had a terrific drive a short while ago. Hansen to kick it off. This guy can kick. Taken at the goal line. Smith across the 20, up near the 30, and he gets to about the 32. Well, a 12-play drive put together by Scott Mitchell. Covered 76 yards, took almost 6 minutes, and Anthony Carter, the touchdown reception from Mitchell. 31-yard return by Tony Smith. Hansen keeps kicking every ball out near the goal line, if not into the end zone.
It's amazing. Hansen is saying, move it back to the 25. I'm still going to take it to the goal line, even sometimes in the end zone. He has got a powerful leg.
George 20 of 26, 113 yards and a touchdown. Steps up, downfield, wide open, Rison. It'll be to the goal line, touchdown. Oh goodness, just like that. Jeff George and the Falcons, a 69-yard connection to Rison.
Jeff George showed me quite a bit on that play. He felt the pressure coming. He stepped up. He saw that Andre Rison was wide open going downfield. Got the ball to him for a 69-yard touchdown. Well, I tell you, after Detroit puts a great drive together right here, George steps up and he answers with the 69 touchdown throw to Andre Rison.
Willie Clay nowhere in sight. And Rison diving into the end zone. He's pointing up at you, Anthony. I told you I was getting a couple today.
He said not one, but two.
And now for the tie, Norm Johnson. It's good. So the defenses dominated in the first half. Here in the second, the offenses have come alive.
Well, Andre Rison and Jeff George have a lot to be happy about right now. As you see on the replay, Andre Rison taking it up the numbers, makes a little outside move. William Clay bites on the outside move. See you later. Jeff George to Andre Rison, 69-yard touchdown. And Andre was over there congratulating and thanking his offensive lineman. Jeff George all excited. As you saw earlier, they were sitting next to each other. There's still a lot of ball game to be played, but that was an excellent play there.
George has had a marvelous second half.
Unbelievable.
Back deep, a little confusion there, and Derek Moore takes the football, crosses the 15. Boy, he got slammed head on by number 52 Ken Tippins, and he's just shy of the 20. Jeff George a couple of series ago went 10 out of 10. He only needed to go 1 for 1 on that last drive. Scott Mitchell, meanwhile, 10 out of 19, 112 yards and a couple of touchdown throws today.
More impressive than the long pass and the touchdown reception was his ability to feel the pressure, step up, and then look the field over and find Andre Rison throw the ball.
21-21 affair with 11:36 to go. First and 10. Detroit starting at their own 19. Carries ahead for a gain of about 3. Mo Gardner there to bring him down.
Maybe the offense is the first half, after the first half, realized it was no longer preseason. They had to play the second half. All of a sudden, they kick it into gear right here. Scott Mitchell, 10 of 19, 112 yards.
Well, the officials blowing the whistle. The ball was touched and moved a little bit. We haven't heard much from Chris Dolman or Pat Swilling today.
That tells me one thing. Lomas Brown, number 75 for the Lions, and Mike Ken, 78 for the Falcons, having a pretty good day.
Mitchell hit as he threw, and it's off the hand of Brett Perryman. Chumpy Gaither's able to get in there and make the hit on Scott Mitchell. Chumpy going to be in there on his fair share of snaps, and there's a reason why.
Well, he's an excellent pass rusher. He has this move, and I was unfortunately had the opportunity of going against him. He just kind of grabs you around the body and kind of lifts you up like a forklift. Just kind of delivers you to the quarterback, and right there, he made the hit on Scott Mitchell as he was throwing the ball.
3rd down and 7. Mitchell can't make the completion. He was trying for Barry Sanders. Jesse Tuggle on the coverage. So Detroit will have to kick it away.
Excellent series by the Falcon defense, and you like seeing that. After you score a quick touchdown, if you can come out and shut the other team down, that still allows that momentum to be there for your offense, because they don't stay off the field that long. You're still in that groove. You still feel like you can go back out there and maintain your momentum.
Greg Montgomery's had a good day. Another bomb. Wow. Smith, the over-the-shoulder grab. Good cut. But he's tackled just across the 20 by Tracy Scroggins, who's made a number of special team plays today. 21 apiece, 10:42 left to go. Sunday, 21-21 game. June Jones Falcons take over 1st and 10 at their own 22. The give is to Pegram. And Johnson making the tackle. I know in the commercial break you were saying June Jones has to be most happy about his first debut as a head coach.
I think he should be excited, and the players should be excited too for him and his coaching staff, because they've come out this second half. They've made some excellent adjustments, and really until that play right there, just about all of their first down plays have been a pass. That short passing game, getting the ball out there quickly, letting the receivers and backs run with it off the pass.
Andre Rison, another huge day. goes for him again, and he could not keep the feet inside the stripe. They rule it as incomplete. He was out of bounds. I don't think he liked the call.
Andre Rison right here trying to keep both feet in. It did not appear as they were in. It was an excellent try, but not quite.
How about Jeff George today, Anthony? 21 and 27.
Not a bad opening day, especially with that 10 for 10 drive that he had. I mean, if he was to finish right now, that would be a decent day today.
Third and 7. George from a shotgun. Again, looking Rison's way. Did he come down in bounds? Yes, he did. What a grab by Andre Rison. He is putting on a show today, his 9th catch of the afternoon.
Here you see in the shotgun, Jeff George going back. Nice protection. Nice throw over the close cut there. Makes a, let's see if he made the catch. 1 foot in, second foot out. Not a catch.
But it is in the book. Crowd doesn't like it after seeing the replay. Straight ahead for Shea in on the tackle along with Johnson as Pegram the ball carrier. Well, let's take a look at that one more time.
Well, maybe if he was still at Michigan State playing Michigan, 1 foot in, the catch. In Lansing, it's a catch. Ann Arbor, not a catch. In Lansing, it's a first down.
2nd and 8. To Rison again. And he's able to pick up maybe 2. Milton Mack on the stop. It'll bring up another 3rd down and long.
You hear the crowd reaction here in the Silver Dome. That's because they have the big screen television. They run the replays, as we know, or if you don't know, the replay is no longer being used in the NFL. So they had a second look at that supposedly catch, and they saw exactly what happened, but the reception was given to the Falcons.
Well, now time called on the field.
Timeout.
Detroit.
Their second charge timeout.
Their second of the half. That means that Wayne Fonts has 1 left. 8:36 to go. We've got a good one. 21 apiece.
The all-new Subaru Legacy has the traction to turn a winter storm into a day at the beach. And a day at the beach? Well, Subaru all-wheel drive is the ultimate safety feature. It reacts instantly, transferring power automatically from the wheels that slip to the wheels that grip. So all you have to do is enjoy.
Back at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. A 21-21 game. Andre Rison has had an enormous afternoon. Double digits in receptions, a couple of touchdown grabs. 3rd and 7. At the Detroit 44. George checking off. Still plenty of time. Jumping is swilling. Now the offensive lineman did move. Everybody's pointing one way, pointing the other.
Tom, if it's a matter of who's pointing or how many guys are pointing, the penalty is going to be against Atlanta. There's 4 lines pointing.
Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
I think they influenced the call there. They had 4 guys pointing. The Falcons only had 1.
Well, that hurts them. I mean, it was 3rd and 7. Now it goes to 3rd and 12.
Oh, that was Bob Whitfield on that right side who took off just a little bit too early, causing the defense to come across. Puts him in a little more difficult situation.
But the way Jeff George is going, no task seems insurmountable at this point. He has had a marvelous second half. 3rd and 12. George rolls right down the field, and again he has found Rison. He is all over the field this afternoon, and George will find him more times than not.
maybe they should go 6 or 7 defensive backs. Somehow put 2 or 3 on number 80, Andre Rison, because regardless if Jeff George is flushed or if he has time, Andre Rison is getting open right here in the middle. Harry Cohen makes the tackle, but Jeff George makes a great play. He goes back, he feels some pressure. He steps up on the run, makes a nice throw, but Andre Rison, a great catch.
So they convert the 3rd and 12 on the 17-yard gain. Pegram slammed to the turf by Spielman. A penalty flag comes in late. Falcon, Pegram is getting up. Apparently he's all right. And Lincoln Kennedy also slow to get up.
That's not a good sign. They have Lincoln Kennedy over there in his 2nd year from Washington.
Holding. Offense number 72, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Well, they got Mike Zandowski on the call.
As I was talking about, Lincoln Kennedy came into camp at 415 pounds, and he's down to 339. He shared a little bit of that with us, and we could tell that that was weighing on his mind a little bit. And, you know, he's got it a little bit under control. Hopefully he has that situation under control because he feels comfortable. He's getting into the rhythm of things, and he feels like he's improving as a player.
And he's a delightful young man. 1st and 20. George. Pegram on the reception. And he got about half of it back. They like using that play. We saw a lot of that in the preseason from the Falcons.
You made a great point there. You said getting half of it back, and that shows me the patience of an offense. They're sitting there 1st and 20, and they don't try to get it all back after a penalty or after they've lost some yardage. They just try to get it little bits at a time, and right there, a nice play. They've been running that little shovel screen or the quick screen to the wide receiver, and it's been effective for them this afternoon.
All right, a 2nd and 12. 21-21 game with 6:40 left to go. Pegram takes a handoff. He took a shot, but he's close to the first down. He'll be about 3, maybe 4 yards shy. Mike Johnson there to bring him down. And Wayne Fonts maybe a little concerned right now.
Well, the way Jeff George is playing this 2nd half and Andre Rison is catching the ball and that offensive line is blocking, he should be a little concerned about his defense out there.
Well, Pegram has carried 20 times for 88 yards. Barry Sanders on the other side, 117 yards rushing. Big play. And here they come. George to Rison. Enough for the first down. He's inside the 20, down to the 17. This could prove to be a deadly combination in the NFC this season. George and Andre Rison.
There's not enough we can say about Andre Rison. He's just a great athlete. Will catch the ball when it's going his way. Right here we see him at the top of the screen. He's coming to the inside, makes the catch. Then now he's running with the ball. Nice balance here. Almost breaks it, but he goes down. But what more can you say about Andre Rison? Having a great day.
Career high day, in fact. 12 receptions, a couple of touchdowns. 1st and 10. Pegram cuts it back. Spielman is there to meet him. And a short gain. You know, Andre Rison, his mother loves telling the story when growing up in nearby Flint, Michigan. Andre told his mom, "The Lord put me on the earth to go pro." He's gone big time since breaking into the NFL.
Then he added a little more to that yesterday when we talked to him. He said Jeff George and Andre Rison are ready to fly. And they've been up in there in the big L10-11 this afternoon.
21-21 game, under 5 minutes left. Pegram again, and Spielman is able to wrap him up. Spielman has been almost unavoidable when the Falcons have tried to run. Well, at the end of the game, Anthony Munoz and I will select a Miller Lite player of the game. At this point, I hate to tell you, it might be a no-brainer.
Well, at this point, I agree with you, but there's a couple other great candidates. One being Barry Sanders, Jeff George, another one.
Yeah.
And I knew exactly who you were talking about.
I know.
Andre Rison having an excellent day.
3rd and 8 at the 15. Where's Rison? No, this time they go to Mathis. And a touchdown from George to Terrence Mathis has given Atlanta a 27-21 lead. Everybody in the place was thinking about Rison, so George, well, he passes on to Mathis.
When you have a set of receivers like that, it makes it nice. In fact, Andre Rison talking yesterday, he said, hey, I might be, a pretty good wide receiver, but these other guys make me better, and hopefully I'll make them better. And right here, prime example, it's Andre Rison. Andre Rison, all of a sudden, Terrence Mathis comes up. Great catch for a touchdown.
On for the extra point is Norm Johnson. And it's good. Atlanta in this half, 3 possessions, 3 touchdown passes. George connecting on Rison for 2. And now Mathis to give the Falcons, Anthony Munoz, their first lead of the game.
Well, we're going to look at this one more time. The Jeff George and Terrence Mathis touchdown catch right here. You get a great view of Jeff George dropping back. Pretty good pass protection. A little hand in the face, but he throws it, completes it to Terrence Mathis. But one thing about it, let's look at it one more angle. A little excited about that touchdown. He should be right here. You see top of the screen. You have Andre Rison, who I think everyone thought they're going to go to, but right there, Terrence Mathis, number 81. Nice lead, nice catch. But one thing to point out, you remember the first drive that the Lions had the football in this game. 3 plays, quick score. So this Atlanta defense has their work cut out for them this time here.
Jeff George has had a sensational game. 261 yards, a 3 touchdown, has only missed on 7 all day.
If there were any questions about Jeff George, he's answered a lot of those this afternoon by having a great day. Of course, it's only the first regular season game, but if this is any indication of things to come, look out.
Well, this would be a huge win for Atlanta.
On the road against an excellent football team in the Detroit Lions, it would be big.
All right, Atlanta touchdown lead, still lots of time. 3:57 for Scott Mitchell and Herman Moore and Barry Sanders. Johnson to kick it off. Mel Gray will take it at the 7. And an opening. Oh, what a hit.
Wow.
A tremendous collision. And Eric Jack almost jacked Gray into next week.
All I have to say was, wow. He came down here and he was going to go right through Mel Gray and just about did. Mel Gray takes the kickoff, starts upfield, and here he comes. He thinks he's got an opening right here, but it closes in a hurry, and whack. Oh my. He'll need a few rub downs tomorrow morning in that neck area. I'm talking about Mel Gray.
Yeah, not Eric Jack.
Ooh.
So 1st and 10 at the 35. Good return by Gray. Mitchell play action, looking long. Being chased. Gets it away, and it's high to Herman Moore. Chris Dolman applying the pressure. Well, Fox's coverage of NFL action continues after the conclusion of this game with the second half of our doubleheader, and what a game it is. The 2-time defending champion Cowboys in Three River Stadium to take on the Steelers. Stay tuned to Fox Sports for more doubleheader action. Second down and 10. And Mitchell will hand to Sanders. Nowhere to go. Jumpy gathers, and Pierce Holt there to make the stop. Holt has had a good second half.
He really has, and there was another guy in on that tackle that we've not called his name a whole lot the whole game, and you mentioned him on giving a little pressure to Scott Mitchell last play. Chris Dolman in on that play, but he's been pretty quiet today. Right here you see Chris Dolman, converted linebacker, moved to defensive end out of Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh.
Biggest play of the game so far for Detroit. They're trailing by 7 with 3 minutes left. A 3rd and 10. And Mitchell back to pass. Complete. Enough for the first down. Again, he goes to Herman Moore. For Herman Moore, that is his 6th catch of the game.
Also having a great game, number 84, Herman Moore. He came back, knew exactly where the sticks were to get that first down. We'll take a look at it right here. Scott Mitchell going back, throws the ball. Herman Moore knows exactly where he has to go to get that first down, makes the catch. First down, Lions.
So a 1st and 10 Detroit. Ball at their own 46. Mitchell looking downfield. Up top to Moore. And a little bit overthrown. Moore wanting contact against Vinnie Clark. He got it earlier, but not this time.
Vinnie Clark knows he has a tough job out there trying to guard Herman Moore one-on-one. Right here, the ball is thrown. Maybe a little contact, but not bad. Right here, another angle. Number 27, Vinnie Clark knows he has Herman Moore. Puts the hand on the chest. That should have been a flag. This angle had a great view of it. Hand right in the chest. Should have been a flag.
2nd and 10. All the tight end in motion. And Mitchell fires complete to Carter. And he is inside Atlanta country to the 40.
That ball right there looked like a fastball from Randy Johnson, the Seattle Mariner pitcher. Scott Mitchell fired that fastball right between the numbers.
This is the 2-minute warning.
Well, the 2-minute warning. Mitchell and the Lions trail Atlanta by 7.
Scott Mitchell, number 19, showed how he can throw that ball with some zip. Right here, he goes back. Nice protection by the offensive line. Steps into it. Hits the chest. Oh, Anthony Carter makes a catch. You think he might have a little bruise on his chest tomorrow? Boy, he zipped that one in.
Well, what a game this has turned out to be. It's what we expected. 28-21 Atlanta. 2 minutes left. Mitchell hands to Sanders. And grabbing a hold of the leg is Lester Archambault, able to bring down Sanders before he could have a big gainer. He did manage about 3 or 4. It'll bring up a 2nd down.
Well, Tom, Lions scored touchdown. Wayne Fawn sends the offense in. 2-point conversion for the win. Or not?
You know better than that.
Oh, yeah. OT.
Well, Fawn's hoping his team can get there. Mitchell. Out to Sanders. Tries to get back up. Just shy of the 30. It'll bring up 3rd and a long yard. And the clock continues to roll. It's down to 1:15. See Pegram and Sanders, both good afternoons. But Pegram's team in front.
That's right. 4.2 average at 5.2. Not a bad average for an afternoon.
1 minute left to go in the game. The ball at the Falcon 30. 3rd and 1. And Mitchell throws incomplete. He took a hit from Chris Dolman, and Mitchell is down and slow to get up.
Well, Chris Dolman, a guy we've not called all day, but he gets through and he puts a hit on Scott Mitchell. You can see his face there. He's hurting right now. Dolman, excellent inside move, knocking Lomas to the outside, and it appears it's the leg, the knee maybe. But Dolman makes an excellent inside move on Lomas Brown and puts the hit on Scott Mitchell.
Well, the Lions need the first down. That's first and foremost, and Wayne Font's recognizing that. He says, hold on a minute.
They're going to talk this one
Timeout.
over.
Detroit.
Mitchell still grimacing in pain, limping back to the sideline as Detroit uses their final timeout of the half. Well, a year ago, Mitchell took over for Dan Marino. And here's what happened. A separated left shoulder.
Well, that was the one question mark coming into the free agency market, was how was his shoulder? A lot of people thought that his shoulder was still affected by this injury. But what they found out that in the process of rehabilitating his shoulder, he just lacked the strength. There was no structure damage or anything. He just had to build the strength up, which he did. Now he has Chris Dolman following his leg. And you can see right here, he's still trying to run off that hit by Chris Dolman.
Well, Anthony, a 4th and 1, under a minute left, and the Lions are down 7.
This is the biggest play of the game, no question about it. They have to get a first down here, or the Falcons take it and just run the clock out.
3 tight ends enter the game for Detroit. And they'll have Moore and Lynch in the backfield. Rodney Holman, the tight end, in motion. 4th and 1, they'll throw. Mitchell completes a pass to Rodney Holman. The clock continues to run. Under 45 seconds, Mitchell just going to slam it to the turf. And that'll stop the clock with 37 seconds left. Rodney Holman, your dear friend and longtime teammate. Haven't said much from him all day until that huge reception.
Well, first of all, something different you're not used to seeing from the Lions in years of past. Tight ends on their offensive set. They have 3 tight ends. Scott Mitchell, plenty of time. Hits a guy that I played with for a long time. He would make big plays in crucial situations right here. Scott Mitchell hits 82. Rodney Holman for a first down. 36 seconds left on the 15-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons.
June Jones trying for his first win in this his first game. His team leads by 7 with 36 seconds left. Ball at the 15. Mitchell, a pump fake, throws, touchdown, Detroit! Anthony Carter, his second touchdown of the game. Oh, what a ball game. Mitchell directs a drive when his team needed him most. And he goes to Anthony Carter. They still love him here from his days in Ann Arbor. Now for the crucial tie. Hansen has never missed an extra point in his NFL career. They're going for the tie.
At least the initial set here is for the tie. Yep.
Right through the middle. Wow, what a game. 30 seconds left. Carter and the Lions tied with the Atlanta Falcons at 28. This is what we expected. Lots of firepower.
Not a bad game to start off our first NFL season with Fox. Right here you see Scott Mitchell going back. He's been going to Herman Moore. He pumps once. He finds Anthony Carter in the end zone. Touchdown to put them down by 1. They kick the extra point. They tie it up. And it's similar to what Atlanta did. They're going down the field, hitting Andre Rison. And then Jeff George goes to Terrence Mathis for the touchdown. Right here, he's going to Herman Moore. Then all of a sudden, Anthony Carter for the touchdown.
That's what happens when you have those big play guys. They scare everybody else to death, and somebody's got to be open, don't they?
No question about it, and that shows me a lot about Mitchell, too, his toughness. Chris Dolman hits him in the leg. He gets up slow. He's trying to run it off. He sits there in the pocket. He doesn't panic. He pumps once. He continues to look over the field, and he hits Carter for a touchdown. That shows me great poise.
30 seconds left. You see Atlanta, a couple of timeouts left. One thing to keep in mind, Norm Johnson, the field goal kicker for the Falcons, has hit his last 7 field goals of 50 or more yards. 7 in a row beyond 50.
To help them out, here you have to look at where they're placing the kickoff now at the 30 instead of the 35. So there's a much better chance of getting a good return with excellent field position. 30 seconds, that's good enough for 2, 3, maybe 4 plays.
Hansen to kick it off. Smith back deep. Line drive. Couple of bounces. And on the run back. All of a sudden cutting upfield. And it is Alton Montgomery out to the 44-yard line. So Montgomery fielding the kick. And great field position. And Anthony Wood, a couple of strikes and give Johnson a chance.
That's right. You're not that far off now. You hit a couple passes and you get your field goal kicker into position right here. They squib the ball thinking maybe they'll have trouble handling it, but he handles it pretty nicely off the bounce. Nice cut right here. He sees an opening, takes it back in the middle. Great field position. He runs by Alton Montgomery. They're in a great position to try to win this thing here.
2 timeouts left for the Falcons. George checking off. Play clock at 10. Fourth quarter, tie game. George throws complete to Rison, and the Falcons call timeout. Well, Andre Rison, a career day in terms of receptions. And for Jeff George, he is now 27 of 34, 3 touchdowns, and nearly 270 yards passing out of this run-and-shoot offense of June Jones.
Well, right now you're looking at Norm Johnson, who wants that chance to forget the overtime. He wants a chance to kick a field goal, put this game away, and go home with the win. They're sitting with second and about 4 yards to go.
Well, we're having a little debate in the last commercial break about our player of the game today. It's tough today. I mean, it is really tough.
Well, you have Barry Sanders, you have Scott Mitchell, you have Andre Rison, Jeff George.
13 seconds left. 2nd and 4. George going to try and give Norm Johnson a chance. Incomplete. He was looking for Rison again. Clock down to 7.
One thing I noticed defensively, they've switched Pat Swilling and Broderick Thomas. They put Swilling over on the right side against the youngster, Bob Whitfield, and they got Thomas over working against Mike Ken. That tells me one thing.
Yeah.
They weren't really excited about what was going on up to this point.
Mike Ken, it might be his 17th year, but he's getting better, not necessarily older. 7 seconds left. The Falcons do have a timeout remaining, and they have a strong leg kicker in Norm Johnson, but they're a ton away right now in midfield. George fires, caught. Do they have time to get the timeout? Yes, they do. 1 second remains on the clock. The ball caught at the 35.
Their third and final timeout. This is a 40-second timeout.
So 1 second left in the game, and Norm Johnson will have a chance to win it for June Jones.
Well, we saw earlier Norm Johnson, number 9, sit right here. He is sitting there. He wanted the chance. He has the chance. Jeff George has had a great game right here. He feels a little pressure, throws the ball. Does it surprise you who he goes to? Andre Rison, having a career day. Mr. Clutch. When you need some yardage, just go to Andre Rison. That's exactly what Jeff George has done here.
Well, George may have had his critics, skeptics in Indianapolis, some brought on certainly himself. But if he plays the rest of this season in Atlanta like he has today, he'll be able to run for mayor down there.
No question about that. Yesterday, as we talked to Jeff George, he realized that a lot of those things were being said, but he still has confidence in his ability to play, and he's shown that here today.
All right, a 52 or 51 yard right in between the hash marks. This is it. Johnson, again, you see the stat, has hit his last 7 from 50 or more yards out. And it is no good. We head for overtime.
He had the distance. He had plenty of distance, but it was wide to the right.
What a game. What a start. And June Jones, hey, his kicker had a chance. For Wayne Potts, he knows it. Maybe he got away with one.
That's
and
right.
How about the game for this guy?
Oh, unbelievable game. Him more than anybody else wanted to see that kick go through. Oh, my. Not bad for our first game here, huh, Tom? Little overtime.
Oh.
Great offensive display. We had a lot of defense the first half. Second half, they said, okay, boys, it's time to crank it up, and both offenses took over
Atlanta
this
will be
show.
your choice. Once
Well,
again,
here's a coin toss.
Tails. Call what's in here, please.
Tails.
Tails is the call.
By Ken.
It is tails. Atlanta, you won the choice.
Well, they're going to take the football. Are you kidding me? The way Jeff George has moved this club up and down the field, he'll come right back out there. He gave his team the chance to win a moment ago, and now he'll try and get them their first victory of the season. So we'll be back playing an extra period here in the Motor City. 28, the Falcons and the Lions. In the opening game of this season, we head for overtime. The coin toss goes in the Falcons' favor. 1 15-minute quarter, of course, 2 timeouts per team. And, well, you score first, you win.
And the Falcons have the ball? I don't know. What do you think? Oh, I tell you, here's total yards. They've 382 to 323. Both teams doing an excellent job offensively.
And that man right there, Jeff George, just a remarkable game. And give Scott Mitchell credit. He has not had a good afternoon, but when he had to drive for the scoring touchdown to tie it up, he was able to toss one in there to Anthony Carter. Receiving is Smith. Cuts to the left side. Flag comes down as he crosses the 25, almost to the 28. But again, a flag is down on the field. Milton Mack made the hit. It goes against Atlanta.
Milton Mack, another one of those players that's come north from Tampa Bay. Ron Hall, the tight end. Milton Mack, Broderick Thomas.
Holding on the return, 10-yard penalty, first down.
This has been a great game. Excuse me, Tom. We start out. Detroit starts out by striking early. Atlanta takes a little time to get going, but after that, they've been going full speed. Not only the nice drive in the first half, but the second half. Just up and down the field. And they have the ball here starting the overtime.
Jeff George under center. He'll hand to Pegram around the left side. And Spielman with yet another tackle. Chris Spielman has been all over the field today. We didn't hear much from him in the first half, but in the second, every time Pegram has touched the ball, he's been there to make the stop.
Well, a player of his caliber, you cannot shut him out the whole day. He's a guy that's going to find a way to make a play, and like you've said, he's been in there his share of the second half.
Well, you know, Pegram has gained on 22 carries today. He has gained 93 yards. 2nd and 7. We're in overtime. 28 all. And George says timeout.
Timeout.
So
Atlanta.
we'll take a commercial break. 28-28 in sudden death overtime in Detroit. Thom Brennaman, Anthony Munoz. We're in overtime at the Silver Dome in Pontiac, Michigan. The Falcons and Lions 28 apiece. Jeff George 28 out of 36 today, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. Scott Mitchell, the number's not nearly as impressive, although he does have 3 scoring throws, and he's in for 173 yards. Andre Rison, a huge day. Career high 14 receptions and 193 yards. And again, a reminder coming up, second half of our Fox doubleheader. It'll be the 2-time defending champion Cowboys against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know, Three River Stadium be fired up when the Cowboys come into town. That's a great crowd to play in front of, especially coming from out of town, playing that Steeler team. You know, they'll be primed for the Cowboys.
Boy, that could be a key injury down there. They're taking a look at Jason Hanson, the field goal kicker. 2nd down and 7. First possession of the overtime. Falcons won the toss, and George back to throw. Rolls out left, now in trouble. And Tracy Hayworth runs him out of bounds.
Excellent coverage by that Lion defensive secondary. First they flush George, and then he cannot find anybody, so he has to run out of bounds. And as you said, Tracy Hayworth runs him out of bounds. Right here you see, he goes back, pretty good at first. He's got plenty of time. Not bad protection, but he feels a little pressure, so he decides to run. He can't find the receiver, and he's run out of bounds. Tracy Hayworth, a 5-year pro from Tennessee.
Big play, 3rd and 7. The crowd on its feet. Whoa, the flags come down.
I believe it was 85 David Mims.
False start, offense, number 85. Simulating the start of a play prior to the snap. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Got a little anxious, a little excited about getting off on the count. Moved a little early, caused motion penalty. Now it's 3rd down. It's starting to move back a little bit.
Wayne Fonts, this is 6th year. He's not looking any younger either, is he? Not
No,
after
he
games
isn't.
like this. 3rd and 12. They need to get to the 26 for a 1st down. George looking around. He'll have to run it. Caught from behind. Swilling got him.
Well, you see Swilling excited about what he just accomplished by sacking Jeff George right here. Nice pressure from the outside, not necessarily a sack, but they get pressure. And right here, Pat Swilling shows his speed and catches Jeff George from behind.
Willie Clay is back to return the punt. Mel Gray took that hit on the kickoff return a short while ago and may have been shaken up. Clay turns a corner, crosses midfield, and the Lions are in business.
Well, you eliminate Mel Gray, and Willie Clay does an excellent job. He catches the ball, and he doesn't hesitate. He just takes it straight up the field, gets what he can. Now Scott Mitchell and his offense will come out, see if they can get it in field goal position.
See the numbers on Mitchell. Not nearly as impressive as George, but the bottom line is he's gotten it done.
That's right. He's gotten the ball in the end zone, and really that is what matters right now because we're tied at 28 apiece.
Hansen getting ready. 1st and 10 at the Falcon 49. We're in overtime. Mitchell trying to get it all. Brett Brennaman down to the 17. What a game this has been. Wow.
Well, that's what having a Barry Sanders the offense does. A little fake, Herming down the middle, wide open. Scott Mitchell delivers. They're in great position at the 19-yard line. Again, the point I made, it's great to have a Barry Sanders because Mitchell turns, fakes it to him. That gets everybody going for the run. Then he stands up, pops it to Perryman.
1st and 10 inside the Falcon 20. Sanders gets out of bounds. They have lost a yard. Kevin Ross shoves him away, and it'll bring up 2nd and long. Well, you know, a lot of people, Anthony, they say, why not just kick a field goal here and in the game if you can, rather than risk a fumble or an interception? What's going through Wayne Fonts' mind?
Well, you can look at it two ways. Sure, you can look at, well, if you might hand it off, you might fumble, why not make the kick? But if you have plenty of time, if you can get it closer, why not try and get it a little closer for your kicker?
Well, Rison has had a huge day, but it may not be enough. 28 apiece in overtime. The ball at the Falcon 19, and immediately hit, nearly mishandled on the exchange between Mitchell and Sanders, and Mo Gardner right there to make the stop.
Then on the other side, you might have a fumble in the exchange of the handoff, and you might not get a chance to kick a field goal to win the game.
Well, Hansen thought maybe on 3rd they bring him out so then you don't muff the snap, or if you do muff it, you get another chance.
Well, this is a big play right here, 3rd down, and I can see where he was thinking that, but Wayne Fonts selects to try to get it closer. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 15.
3rd and long for the Lions. They'll just hand it off to Sanders. Breaks a tackle. Tripped up at the 20 by Vinnie Clark. Sanders wanted to end this one in touchdown fashion rather than a field goal try. You can say, oh, man, I wanted that.
Well, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, or 3rd and 15, 16. Give it to Barry, and he almost breaks it. So they bring on the team, and they're going to go for the win right here. Jason Hansen will attempt field goal for the win.
Well, Hansen, 50 of 59 last season inside 50 yards. And the ball will be spotted at the 27, a 37-yard game-winning field goal try. The Lions have won Jason Hansen bangs through a 37-yard field goal. And in overtime, Detroit over Atlanta. Anthony Munoz, what a game.
Great game. Great way to start the season. So many guys have a great game today. And I tell you, I'm just glad to be part of this game. Right here you see Wayne, Fonz, excited. We have great games by Sanders and Mitchell and George and Andre Rison. Our MVP for the game, Barry Sanders.
Well, the Miller Lite player of the game is indeed Barry Sanders. And, you know, he rushes for well over 100 yards today. And well, he helped the passing game a great deal as well, didn't he?
Definitely. They threw the ball to him out of the backfield. Great guy to have in your backfield.
All right, for Anthony Munoz, I'm Thom Brennaman saying so long from the Pontiac Silverdome. The final score in overtime, 31-28 Detroit. Coming up next, the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages from your local Fox station.